Since day one, this epic rivalry has been a cornerstone of the World Juniors. Canada versus Russia, the tournament's two most dominant nations, going toe-to-toe for the gold medal.
Stop all your complaining and dry off those tears. This game that you're playing makes me cringe when you're near. You tell me you love me when things are alright. The next day you hate me, Mrs. Jekyll and Hyde.
Can you believe it? Shubara wins it. 5 unanswered goals for the Russians. Brady left for score. Canada is on top of the hockey world.
Inside the Team Canada dressing room, usually the Toronto Maple Leafs dressing room. Tonight, these 22 kids, Curtis Lazar, Nick Patan, his new line mate, and Connor McDavid, who's been sensational, 10 points in his last 5. Those are the guys up front. Zach Fucale, the last line of defense, going for gold tonight for Canada, trying to end a 5-year drought. Hello, Canada, and welcome to the gold medal game, the 2015 World Junior Hockey Championship. James Duthie and Bob McKenzie. It's been a while since Canada's been here. Not really, only 4 years, but that's an eternity on the Canadian hockey calendar. It was 4 years ago in Buffalo against Russia. I'll spare you the details. You're about to see it in a second anyway. The point is this. These are the nights that Canadian hockey fans live for. Packed house, red and white, and Canada versus Russia.
It's Canada. Russia. Look out! It's a double Dion. Perry for Bergeron scores! Canada is on top of the hockey world. Now he fires score! Fire Chitula scores! Making back-to-back gold medals. Centering pass. O'Mara score! Shooting score! Jonathan Toews. Canada will win for the 3rd consecutive year. Icing against the Russians. Canada's got another life. Tavares backhand towards the goal. Loose puck. Everybody scores! You believe it! In on Tokarski, stop! Canada wins! Canada's going to the gold medal games! Shukin goes off and drawing 3 goals, 5 unanswered goals for the Russians.
This is the greatest collapse in the history of the World Junior.
Kuznetsov scores! And the roof falls in on Canada. Suddenly, there's life! And the epic comeback comes up short. Shoots the left foot, but Subban, now they score! And the Russians will take the bronze! Long shot score! Back-to-back bronze medals for the Russians.
It's amazing, really. During the 5-year gold medal run, Canada 4-0 against the Russians, all in big games, 3 gold medal games. Some of them you saw there. And then the last 5 years when they haven't won gold, 0-4 against the Russians in the medal round. These games have really defined the last decade for Canadian hockey. Oh, the other thing, historically, 11-11-1. So this is pretty much a rubber match, 20 years in the making. Bob McKenzie, what needs to happen for Canada to win tonight?
Well, it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Zach Fucale needs to be very, very good in net for Team Canada. But Team Canada has the capacity to break this game open with their top 2 centers. Sam Reinhart between Max Domi and Anthony Duclair. That light has been lights out. Connor McDavid between Curtis Lazar and Nick Patan on a newly constructed line that was absolutely electrifying last night in the semifinal victory over the Slovaks. McDavid now has 10 points in 6 World Junior games this year. That's 1 more point than what Sidney Crosby had in his draft year when he had 9 points in the same number of games, 6. So Connor McDavid and Sam Reinhart and those top 2 offensive lines for Team Canada have the capacity to break this game wide open.
Russia looked formidable against Sweden yesterday. What specific challenge do they pose for Canada?
Well, they're a big team, and they are also a team that historically, as you saw from the examples, Canada's kryptonite over the last 4 or 5 years. This team is big, they are strong, they do have balance and depth, They box people out well in front of the net. They're dangerous off the rush. They've got a pretty good power play. And they've got this guy, Valerie Bragin. He's got some swagger. This was the coach in Buffalo when the Russians had that amazing comeback against Team Canada, and this team has the swagger to go with it. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out.
That's one thing we have not seen Benoit Gros do so far, is stand on the top of the bench to address his team. Pretty much every little move he's made so far has been good. He's standing by the Team Canada coach with Ryan.
Benoit, one of the things your players have consistently said through the tournament is that you do a great job of setting the tone for the team. Serious when it needs to be, loose when it needs to be. What tone do you want to set for them tonight?
Well, obviously, since day one, we want to be loose but focused. And I think it's something we've been doing very well, so we don't want to change anything for tonight.
What have you sensed with this team's ability to monitor itself in that regard, your leaders on down?
Well, I think it starts from the leadership in within. No doubt that our older guys, like the guys with the most experience, are leading the way, and they know exactly what we want from them, and I think they're leading by example.
To Russia, they have a defense that is big. They like to stand up. What do you want to see from your forwards? What's the best way to combat that?
Well, the most important thing for us is to have support through middle of the ice. We want to use our speed from the side, but to use our speed, we need support from middle and play deep in their zone. So in order to bring the puck to the point and create chaos in front of their net. So we'll see how it plays out.
Thanks, Benoit.
Thanks.
His team not only 6-0, but they have never trailed in the tournament. In fact, they've never been tied, only at 0-0. Russians' only blemish, a loss to Sweden in the preliminary round, which they avenged yesterday. The game is next.
The 2015 IIHF World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you by RBC. Proud to support hockey in Canada to help more kids reach their someday. By Imperial Oil. The Esso brand is a proud sponsor of Hockey Canada and the World Junior Hockey Championship. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. And by TELUS, the biggest fans of Canada's biggest game. The 2015 IIHF World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By Molson Canadian. Anything for hockey. And by Canadian Tire Jumpstart Charities. Giving kids a sporting chance.
Starting goaltenders brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Ficali's .971 save percentage, best in the tournament. Ches Yorkin's numbers also solid. This is TSN's 25th year of bringing you the World Juniors. We could not think of a better way to celebrate than this. Canada, Russia for gold. Enjoy.
Congratulations. étant les joueurs partants présentés par Nike. Nike, a valued premier partner of Hockey Canada since 1996. Nike, the official gear of Canada's national teams. Nike, commanditaire officiel de Hockey Canada depuis 1996, joue un rôle important dans la préparation et la performance de nos équipes nationales lors de compétitions au Canada et partout à travers le monde. Starting for Russia, pour la Russie, in goal, devant le filet, number 30, le numéro 30, Igor Shestyorkin. En défense, à la défensive, number 7, le numéro 7, Rushan Rashikov. Number 12, le numéro 12, Alexander Brintsev. At forward, comme attaquant, number 19, le numéro 19, Pavel Bushnevich. Number 22, le numéro 22, Ivan Barbashev. And number 27, the numéro 27, Vyacheslav Lashenko. And starting for Canada, in goal, devant le filet, number 31, le numéro 31, Zach Fucale. En défense, à la défensive, number 6, le numéro 6, Shea Theodore. And number 25, le numéro 25, Darnell Nurse. At forward, comme attaquant, number 10, le numéro 10, Anthony Duclair. Number 16, le numéro 16, Max Domi. And number 23, le numéro 23, Sam Reinhart. The game officials for this game have been licensed and assigned by the International Ice Hockey Federation. Les officiels de ce match ont été accrédités et assignés par la Fédération internationale de hockey sur place.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final game of the 2015 World Junior Hockey Championship. This tournament went to a medal round format 20 years ago, and since then, this is the 8th gold medal game meeting between Canada and Russia. Behind the bench for Team Canada is Benoit Groulx, the head coach of Gatineau, the Quebec Major Junior League, his 12th year as their head coach and now also their general manager. Valeri Bragin coached the Russians to gold in 2011 in Buffalo, silver in Calgary in 2012. He was an assistant for the Russians in Grand Forks, North Dakota in 2005. 2 experienced referees. Marcus Vinterborg of Sweden has worked 6 World Championships, 2 Olympic Games. Tobias Verley of Switzerland, 5 World Championships and an under-18 gold medal game. They're both officials in the Swiss National A-League. What more could you ask for? A packed house, 2 longtime rivals, the 2 teams at the start of the tournament that most people thought would be in this position.
It almost vibrates here, Gord. Both teams came back to the bench. The enthusiasm ready to just explode out of these players.
Bushnevich and Domi are into it before the face-off. And on the other side, Duclair and Lashenko. Here we go. Reinhart wins the draw back to Shea Theodore. Darnell Nurse ahead for Domi. And back to pick it up is Alexander Brintsev. Lined up there by Reinhart. Duclair picks it up in behind the goal. Anthony Duclair. Tries to get it down to Domi. He does. Domi centers and Duclair scores! Anthony Duclair! 23 seconds in. Canada has a 1-0 lead.
Shoving on both ends, Duclair and Domi. The referees separate them. They chip the puck into the zone. Reinhart gets in on the forecheck. Duclair knocks the puck down, and once he stays on the puck, here's the key. He stays on it. He keeps the puck alive. And then Domi, an excellent passer, is going to find Duclair. Duclair had missed a couple of open nets scored in the quarters. He gets a lucky one that bounces off the goaltender in the semis. And he puts Canada on the board here, 23 seconds in.
Shades of Grand Forks in 2005. When Canada scored in the opening moments of the game en route to a gold medal win. Bowie Up ahead for Lazar, that's broken up by Nikita Cherepanov. Across he goes to the captain, Vladislav Gavrikov. That's knocked down by Petan. Nick Petan playing the wing with Connor McDavid and Curtis Lazar. And now Petan taps it back for Josh Morrissey, 2 Winnipeg Jets prospects. And back at the point, Udin tries to bang it off the end boards, hits the back of the net. And Fishenko within the corner, got tied up there by Morrissey. Back at the point is Udin with it. Has time and shoots and bounces down in front of Fucali. A broken stick now for McDavid. And Lazar has the loose puck. He hammers Udin as he plays it in deep. Icing was waved off. And now they will call play. The linesman did call it dead. You couldn't hear over the crowd. But it will be an icing call against Canada. And the face-off back in the Canadian zone.
The key to this whole goal is Duclair staying on the puck here. In the puck battle with 2 Russian players, he keeps it alive to Domi. That's a small passing window for Max Domi. He slides it right on the tape to Duclair. Duclair doesn't hold on to it, makes it 1-0, and there's Pagan jumping up on Lazar.
Now brought in by Nick Ritchie along with Frederick Gauthier. Ritchie tries to pull it around Udin. Gauthier with it. Loose behind the Russian goal. Frederick Gauthier banks it back to Dylan Hetherington. Hetherington shoots. That was blocked, and it's chopped out by Dragachev. And now at the line, Golashev hammered by Joe Hickett. And Hetherington has it now. Ahead for Krause. Lawson Krause. He and Connor McDavid, the only 2 draft-eligible players in this Canadian lineup. Chipped in by Ritchie down to the Russian zone. Ivan Provorov plays for Brandon in the Western Hockey League, the top-scoring rookie in the Western League, and he left for the Russian camp. Long lead pass. Here's Goldobin with it. Long shot handled by Fucali. And Morrissey banks it ahead for Braden Point. Out for Nick Paul. That's through his feet and back out to center ice. Renat Valya plays for Kootenay in the Western Hockey League. Shot it in, and Jake Virtanen has it back for Canada. Swings it rink wide for Point. In comes Braden Point with Nick Paul steaming it from Paul. Scores! Braden Point with a terrific centering pass. Nick Paul taps it home, and Canada leads 2-0.
When Nick Petan was moved to the left side of McDavid and Lazar, the bottom 2 lines had to be rejigged. This is a makeshift 4th line with Braden Point. They move Nick Paul to the middle, and Paul's goal will chase Shesterkin already. Great feed across the ice from Virtanen, and then Braden Point slides it to the lanky Paul. He scored in the semi. Paul comes across the front of the net. A gorgeous feed from Braden Point. 2 goals in 2 minutes and 32 seconds. That's it for Igor Shesterkin. In is Elias Sorokin, and Sorokin was brilliant in the pre-tournament. He has to try and stem the tide on this fabulous start for Canada.
We've seen this before from Braga. He did it in 2011 in Buffalo when Canada got ahead 3-0, made the goalie switch. Even more dramatically the next year in the semis he did it. And that quick shot taken there by Lashenko, kicked away by Fucali. In that game in Calgary, it was 6-1 Russia. Canada closed it to 6-5. Now Domi swings it across. And with 5 to go, Braga changed goalies. And the Russians hung on to win it 6-5. But now in desperation to make the early switch here in the first period. Domi bats it down. And it comes loose in front for Duclair. Swipes it on goal. Sorokin the save. The rebound skipped away. Sorokin allowed 1 goal on 53 shots, as you mentioned, Ray. In the pre-tournament game, Canada outshot the Russians 53-20. Darnell Nurse works it in now as Canada's changing. Nurse swings it back. Petan shoots. Tipper on goal. Rebound Duclair off the outside of the net. Petan swings it back in front. Furious pressure by Canada there. And Sorokin hangs in. And now McDavid collides with Ryukhin. Puck in behind McDavid, still loose in front for Cali down. As swatting it down was Fishenko. Gavrikov with a shot that was blocked. The next shot goes wide, bounces right in front for Mammon. And it's knocked down by Petan. Lazar, rink wide for McDavid. Trying to get on Gavrikov. Gavrikov knocked that away. Now Mammon falls. And Lazar taps it back. Josh Morrissey. Up ahead for McDavid. Leaves it there for Nick Ritchie. Ritchie banks it around for Lazar. 4-2, the shot's on goal for Canada in a 2-0 lead. And Lazar tried to lift that in. It goes over the glass and out.
Anthony Duclair had the first minute goal. He's almost got another one. Sorokin's not even in the game. He's made 2 fantastic stops. There's an open net that Duclair wedges wide. Look at the rebound. He's battling for position. He hits the outside of the goalpost. That's Nick Patan bent over at the bench just to my left. He was hit on the far side of the ice. He came back to the bench. It's looked like he's going to throw up on the bench here. He's bent over. Help from the trainer as they're trying to settle down Nick Patan.
Now Uden swings it across for Pagan, who scored a huge goal against the Swedes in the semifinal on the power play to make it 2-0. Fucale left that. And Krause outlets for Hicketts. Top scoring D-man in the Western League. Hicketts drops for Ritchie. And Sorokin makes the stop. And now a battle ensues in front of the Russian goal. And they're finally separated. Ritchie's in there.
There you see Patan sitting at the bench. Patan is 19 in red. Oh, he took an elbow right to the face. As Fashenko catches him, he came back to the bench and was in some discomfort. He looks fine at the bench. Talking to assistant coach Scott Walker now. Canada's had a fantastic start here. 5 shots in the first 4.5 minutes. And if not for a couple stops from Sorokin, it could be more than the 2-0 lead.
Sergei Tolchinsky brings it in, plays for Sault Ste. Marie of the Ontario League. His pass back missed for Kamenev. Now Tolchinsky gets it back. Point was taken down. Provorov centers it, and that shot from Goldobin knocked away by Fucale, up and out of play, and more pushing and shoving breaks out as Kamenev is into it. And the officials, Marcus Vinterborg and Tobias Verley, have their hands full here in the early going.
The Russians gain control in the zone, and Kamenev's going to find Goldobin, the San Jose first rounder. Nice stop by Fucale. And it's the position of the rebound up onto the netting that is the key component to that stop, as Fucale has had a terrific tournament for Canada. He's faced 72 shots. He's stopped 70 so far in the tournament.
Both benches are being warned now by the officials.
The real danger becomes in those scrums, whether they just start taking one player out of them to lower the temperature. You don't want to give up a penalty because you lose discipline.
Reinhardt wins the face-off back to Duclair. Back in 2005, it was Ryan Getzlaff who scored less than a minute in. Reinhardt works it back to Duclair, almost tapped that home. Right back the other way by Lashenko. Flips it high in the air, knocked down by Shea Theodore. He and Darnell Nurse out together. And as Barbashev brings it in, the play's offside at the Canadian line, and the linesmen have to come in after every whistle now. And now it's Kuchnevich into it with Domi.
After that last scrum, Gord, Benoit Groulx, Canada's head coach, was yelling at the official. They're looking for trouble on every whistle. Groulx does not yell a lot at the officials. They feel, at least he feels, that the Russian team is trying to stir the pot between whistles. That last whistle led to the scrum with Fashenko pushing and shoving, and the Russians must be stunned to be down 2-0 so quickly. Trying to get their feet back underneath them here.
Long way to go tonight. McDavid jumps in across the line, drops it off. Lazar shoots. Sorokin knocks that away. Scooped up by Fashenko. Rinkweg goes for Mammon. Maxim Mammon works in. Long shot. Fucale kicked that away. And Ryukhin couldn't reach the rebound. It's in the feet of Patan, who's back out there for Canada. He had it stolen away. And Fashenko drops it back. Ryukhin shoots. Fucale to stop. And the rebound drops down in front of Lazar. Picks it up. And Curtis Lazar outlets for McDavid. Up for Patan, just out of his reach. Now Mammon back the other way with the Russians changing by some time. In on Hetherington. And Hetherington squeezes his space out as Hicketts played up to the line but not out. Now picked up by McDavid for Ritchie. Ritchie spins back. Canada in the midst of a change. Ritchie shoots. That goes just wide. Sam Moran into the corner for Lawson Krause. Down to Ritchie. Ritchie takes off Pagan. Finds Krause with it. And Lawson Krause down to Ritchie. Loose below the goal line is Frederick Gauthier. These big guys going to work for Canada. Ritchie down low with Krause. Morrissey thought about jumping up. Leaves it there for Gauthier. Frederick Gauthier peels back in the corner. Centering pass. Krause shoots Sorokin in the save. The rebound batted away by the Russians. And back down the ice. It was played with a high stick, but icing waved off, and Morrissey goes back for it. 6-4. Canada with the edge and shots on goal. Paul works in for Virtanen. Jake Virtanen in shoots. He was at the high and wide. Paul with it. Taps it down to Virtanen. Fresh legs coming on the ice for Canada. Here's Nurse with it. Sweeps that to an open wing. It's scooped up by Provorov. Got Kolchinski with him. And it bounces down to the Canadian zone as Kolchinski and Nurse, the teammates in Sault Ste. Marie, come together. Virtanen. His pass. Popped in the Canadian bench, and Virtanen sent Canada flying. And again, tempers flare here in Toronto. Anthony Duclair with the early goal, and Canada with a 2-0 lead. At any level, Canada-Russia stirs the emotions. This is the 8th all-time gold medal game, meeting the first in '99 in Winnipeg. Artem Chubarov, who later played for Vancouver, scored the golden goal for the Russians on Roberto Luongo in a game in which Canada was badly outplayed and Luongo was brilliant. Brintsev with it, tries to bank that ahead for Buchnevich. His top line is on the ice for the Russians. It rolls down to Bukali, and he'll hang on to it.
The Buchnevich line looks like it's matched up here against Sam Reinhart. Reinhart excellent on the draw. He'll be taking this draw against Barbashev, the St. Louis draft pick. He was 13-5 yesterday, but Reinhart spins on the forehand to win this one.
And Shea Theodore plays it around for Anthony Duclair. Up for Reinhart, the 2nd overall pick in last summer's National Hockey League draft. Began the year with the Buffalo Sabres in the NHL. Back down to the corner, Theodore for Domi. Takes a hit, stays on it, and the puck skipped up on him. Still loose in the corner. Domi tries to kick it out, and Lashenko poked it free for a moment. Now played up for Domi. He's got Reinhart with him. Drops it off for Reinhart. Swings that rink wide, poking in his Nurse. Darnell Nurse with it now. Drops it down to Domi. Max Domi centers it. Goes off a skate and wide. Reinhart battling for it. And Lashenko goes rink wide to Buchnevich. Buchnevich centers it all alone in front and bounced off the stick of Vyacheslav Lashenko. What a chance for the Russians there. And not even a shot on goal. Now Nurse back with Patan. Darnell Nurse fires. He hammered it wide. And McDavid had it bounce over his head. Lashenko couldn't knock it down. Patan with a head of steam. In comes Nick Patan. Gets Sorokin to move. Works it back. And now Patan. Drops it down to McDavid. McDavid spins off a check. Back down to Patan. Lazar's loose in front. Patan shoots with a sharp ankle. Sorokin makes the save. And it bounces down to Lashenko. Salmon tried to center that pass, but McDavid stepped into him, and now it's back down to the Canadian zone as Hicketts is back to pick it up. Joe Hicketts, undrafted last year, signed as a free agent training camp by the Detroit Red Wings. Played in the route for Hetherington. It's back down to the Russian zone. And because Sorokin played it, icing waved off. Alexander Sharov, who scored twice in the semifinals against Sweden, chips it ahead, and jumping in is Golashev. Golashev, side of the goal, fires it. Bounce off the side of the goal. Shot score! Dmitry Yudin from a sharp angle, and now Sharov comes in on Ritchie. But Yudin has scored, and the Russians are on the board, down 2-1.
Interesting to see if they call a penalty here. Oh, they do. They did call a penalty on Sharov. That's a stupid penalty for him to take. They just scored. They're just back in the game. It's 2-1. The puck comes back to the point. Yudin fires it in. Look at Sharov. He takes the Russian player takes a roughing penalty. That's just a terrible, undisciplined, young penalty to take. It's in the net. It's 2-1. Beautiful shot from Yudin after great work by Golashev. And the Russians don't know. They're celebrating. Look at Yudin. He's celebrating out at center ice. Sharov loses his head. He'll go to the penalty box. And as I said earlier, Gord, the danger becomes the officials start to take out of scrums one player to the box. That will settle down the nonsense there. And that's a veteran's call by Vinneborg.
Little taunt to the Canadian bench with the sweater after the goal. And now Sharov goes off, and Canada will go to the power play, 9 for 20 in the tournament. Well,
that's
this game is percolating now.
That's a young guy that lost his head. Canada with the opportunity. They weren't happy with the hit right on the goal as Yudin scored. He was pushed into the boards. Save it for another time. You're back in the game. Now they've got a crucial penalty kill. Canada's power play, which has been excellent, has a chance to restore the 2-goal lead.
And Bowie swings back for the bouncing puck. Paten and Lazar lead Canada with 2 power play goals apiece. Domi for Duclair. In for Madison Bowie. Works it back in front. Here's Domi with it. Couldn't get a shot away. And Bowie leaves it there for Reinhart. Back down to Domi. Centers it for Duclair. It skipped away from him. Now Duclair with a puck at his feet. Pokes it back for Theodore. Theodore back for Bowie with time. Shoots. Soroka to save. Rebound loose in front. Domi couldn't get to it. Gergachev battling there with Duclair, who wins the fight for the puck. Back now to Theodore. Shoots through traffic. Hits Reinhart. Sam Reinhart feeds back for Theodore. Back across to Domi. Domi slides it back for Duclair. In for Theodore. Back across for Duclair. A minute to go in the power play. Duclair shoots. And just missed wide. Back down to the Canadian zone it goes as Theodore is back to pick it up. And Canada will get fresh legs on the ice for the power play. The McDavid line comes on. Paten lost that in the feet of Mammon, who flips it back down to the Canadian zone.
Canada scored power play goals 5 straight games, Gord. They have the 2 units that have great depth. Trouble getting set up here.
And now that pass is picked off by Cherepanov, who fires it down to the Canadian zone. 25 seconds to go on the power play. Joe Hicketts with a rolling puck up for Paten. He couldn't handle it. And Kamenev sweeps it back down to the Canadian end. Hicketts up ahead for McDavid. Rink wide for Morrissey. The pass too far for him. And again fired down. And Yudin stepped on something that had fallen ice. He lost a blade on his skate. It fell out. And Yudin has to crawl back to the Russian bench. And the blade is still on the ice. Bertanen steamrolls over Sharov, who's back out of the box. Vishenko works it in. Drops it off for Sharov. Loose in the corner. Point took the puck away from him.
Why did Russia dodge one there? Terrible penalty. Excellent penalty kill.
Hickett steps into Sharov. Looks down to Vishenko. And Point has it for Canada. Plays it across for Hicketts. 8:15 to go in the first period. Canada with a 2-1 lead. Paul just missed there by Barbashev. And Bertanen banks it back across for Hicketts. Rattles it around the glass and out as Provorov couldn't knock it down. Moved in by Buchnevich. Trying to kick it ahead. And now Bertanen bumping there at the line. Provorov works in, waits, he shoots. Rebound, and the puck up in the air. A crease violation being called against Russia. Now Vishenko gives Darnell Nurse a bump, and there are scrums after every whistle. Canada with a 2-1 lead. You're watching the gold medal game for the 2015 World Junior Hockey Championship.
Back inside the Air Canada Centre, we are honored to be joined by Prime Minister Stephen Harper. I know you've been able to watch the games on television, but we're right here in the middle of it now. A couple of Canadian goals. What can you say about the atmosphere?
You can't beat the atmosphere here. You have to be here to believe it. It's just so exciting.
You are a noted hockey historian. You love the game. You've written a book. Do you believe that Russia remains Canada's biggest hockey rival?
Yeah, I think it probably is. And you know something, you never forget, they're a great and a proud hockey nation. And these kids here are never going to quit, so we got to play the whole 60 minutes.
You travel the planet talking to world leaders all over. How often is hockey brought up to the Prime Minister of Canada?
It comes up a fair bit. I used to have good chats with now Prime Minister Medvedev of Russia. He's a great hockey fan, really knows his game. but we hope we pocket this one tonight.
Sir, thank you so much for taking the time, and enjoy the rest of the game.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for doing such a great job of this, too.
Well, we're happy to. Gord?
Dylan Hetherington winds and shoots. It bounces down in front. Frederick Gauthier with a backhand shot that goes wide. Provorov on it. And Valiev was tied up as Ritchie comes in. Bumping there with Kamenev. And Goldobin slides out to center ice. In comes Lotinski with it. Little head fake. Plays it back to Lotinski with a shot. Shut down short side by Fucale. And Gauthier has it back. Frederick Gauthier from Rimouski of the Quebec Major Junior League. For Ritchie, who fires it down, and Canada will change. 8-7, the shots on goal in favor of Canada. Under 7 to go in a frenetic first period. In comes Sherov with it, backhanded in front. And Valley couldn't clear it away. Now the centering pass knocked down by Lazar. Up for Patan as McDavid jumps in. Patan for McDavid, the pass too far for him. McDavid knocked down by Cherepanov. And Valley up for Patan. Nick Patan trying to feed McDavid. Now Patan gets it right back. In across the line he comes. Nick Patan knocked off stride. At the line, here's Bauer with a shot. Sorokin the save. He knocks that to the corner. Patan slides it down. McDavid trying to center it out of the reach of Lazar. And Bryukman has it back for the Russians. Knocked off stride by Bowie. Sam Morin back to pick it up. Also plays for Rimouski in the Quebec Junior League. Up for Domi. Max Domi jumps in across the line, gets around Dergachev. Centers it, chipped on goal by Reinhardt. And cleared away by Fishenko. Racing back is Hickett to pick it up. He lost the puck. Now Golashev tries to center it, gets it back. Golashev moves behind the goal. Centers it again, it bounces off the stick of Morrissey. Golashev works it down for Fishenko. Dergachev with it, centers it, and Reinhardt knocks that away. Hagen with a long shot, that's wide, and here's Domi with it. And Domi back up to center ice to Reinhardt. This line needs a change as Reinhardt brings it in, drops it off for Duclair. Fires it back in, but the puck goes up in the meshing. And a late call with 5:24 to go in the first period.
We spoke in the opening about the way Russia defends the offensive line. They try to squeeze the puck, Patan to McDavid, and he gets stood up at the blue line. Russia's as aggressive as any team defending that blue line in this tournament. George, you mentioned how frenetic things were at the last break. Benoit Gros was talking to the Canadian team about to relax, don't run around, play your positions, settle the game down a little bit.
Ritchie brings it around for Lawson Krause. Krause gets loose in the corner with it now. Leaves it there for Gauthier. And jumping in is Shea Theodore with it, poked by him, and a chance now for Buchnevich. Coming back the other way for Russia. Buchnevich can't get around Darnell Nurse. A terrific job defending there by the Edmonton Oilers first-round pick. Valiev being watched there by Gauthier. Two Toronto draft picks battling in the corner. And Gauthier kicking at it. Picked out by Valiev. But Gauthier got a stick on him to knock it free, and Provorov has it. Knocked out by Buchnevich. And Theodore picks it up. 4.5 to go in the opening period. And Patan chipped that right to center ice. Brought in now by Goldobin. He drops it back. And the shot by Valiev deflected wide. Goldobin back on it. Patan stays with him. And Goldobin got bumped there by Nurse. Patan again can't clear it out. Goldobin with it. Slides it across. The centering pass was knocked away by Theodore. And Shea Theodore's away for Canada. In comes Shea Theodore along wrist shot. That was blocked by Provorov. And Theodore plays it back in deep and goes back to the blue line. There's McDavid loose behind the goal. Shovels it back in front. The loose puck kicked away by Provorov. Back on this Point. Point spins and shoots. He put it wide. And Provorov puts it off the boards. But Point kept it alive for the moment for Canada. Now Tolchinsky chips it out. And Josh Morris, he pounds it right back in for Canada. 9-7, the shots on goal. Dergachev up for Mammon. And Bowie races back for the rolling puck. Can't clear it out. Fishenko with it. Centers it onto the stick of Josh Morrissey. It goes, and Morrissey picks his way ahead. He finds Point. And Point banks it down to the Russian zone. Cherepanov back for it. His clearing attempt was knocked down by Paul. Bertanen in for Point. Cherepanov took it away from him. The referee got in the way. Cherepanov had his clearing attempt knocked away by Paul. And Nick Paul kicks it neatly. Drops it back in front, but it's knocked away. And played back down to the Canadian zone. Icing waved off. Lead pass goes to Paul. Nick Paul with a long shot. And Sorokin will hang on to that. Closed captioning is brought to you by the Home Depot. Your Home Depot gift card gets you the gift you really want. Let's do this.
Nick Paul scored, and that led to the puck for Shesterkin in the Russian net. Ilya Sorokin come in at that point, and Sorokin's made two really good saves in the first 2 minutes. The game was 2-0. The Russians were clearly rattled at the start. His play has given the Russians a chance to get back into it, which they are at 2-1.
Dergachev brings it in, drops it back for the trailer. And that's passed wide by Pagan. Now to the open wing, it goes Dergachev. First there for the Russians. Gets bumped by Moran. Dergachev lost his stick. And Ritchie lifts that over the head of Pagan and back down the ice. And that will be an icing call against Canada. The face-off back with 2:27 to go.
Nick Ritchie, Freddie Gauthier, Lawson Krause had an excellent game in the semifinal. They're together here. They want to be physical. Krause and Ritchie get both together on the hit. The danger you have to be careful of is that if you're trying to be so aggressive, you have to watch that weak side D. They ended up, the Russians did, with a 4-on-3 for a moment as Canada was looking for the big aggressive play in the offensive zone.
Gauthier 65% on faceoffs in the tournament. It's a scramble draw. Played back to the line. That shot fired wide by Rafikov. Still was to the side of the goal for Cali. Lost it for a moment as it ticked off the side of the goal. Buchnevich with it. Plays it down to Barbashev. He's tangled up with Hicketts. And Buchnevich comes in. Barbashev stays on it, but Moran has it now on his backhand. Plays it up for Ritchie, and it just squeezes out across the line. Centering pass knocked down by Moran. Pops it back to Hicketts, who slaps it back out to center ice. And it's blocked back by Rafikov. Rafikov drops it back. Lashenko with a shot. It goes off a stick. And again, it's over the glass and out. 1:48 to go in the first period. There'll be a face-off in the Canadian zone.
You wonder if both teams will be able to exhale once this period ends a little bit. Funny bounce to the left of Zach Fucale. Buchnevich gets to the puck. Fucale's got to find it. It's on the other side of the net, and the puck, you'll see, goes straight back across. Oof. How close is that? Fortunately, it didn't touch Fucale on the way through.
Goldobin drops it back. Looks for the return pass. Polchinski knocked down hard by Reinhart. And Reinhart feeds it ahead to Domi. Max Domi across the line. Across to Morrissey, who's jumped in. Now Domi back on it. Reinhart drifts back to back up Morrissey. The bouncing puck goes in front. And Sorokin has it. Sorokin, a third-round pick of the New York Islanders in 2014, replaces Shesterkin, the fourth-round Ranger pick.
He plays in the KHL. His rights were transferred this past week to the former Red Army team. They're one of the greatest goaltenders in the Soviet Union history, Vladislav Tretiak.
Sitting with former Hockey Canada president Bob Nicholson. Alexander Yakashev is also here as the head of the Russian delegation. Mammon goes back for it, plays it back into his own corner. And Gavrikov back to pick it up. Mammon chips it up to center ice. Ryukman's got it. Walks back in, drops it off with a hard shot taken there by Kushenko. Knocked away by Fucale. At the line, Cherepanov tries to play it back in. Knocked down by Patan. And Patan finally pokes it out. Final minute of the opening period. Morrissey with it. Canada's changing as Josh Morrissey plays it across for McDavid. Back to Morrissey. Morrissey shoots from a sharp angle. Sorokin kicks it away. And the Russians are in business the other way. Sherov with it. Alexander Sherov walks in, and McDavid races back to strip him of the puck.
Oh, nifty.
Swings it right wide for Duclair. In comes Duclair. Poked it wide. Now Duclair feeds it back in front. There was no one there. And Duclair has it knocked away by Dergachev.
Really nifty play by Connor McDavid defensively to get it. And then a feathery pass across to Duclair.
Golashev winds it across the line, drops it off for Pagan, taking a shot away. Duclair picks it up. He's got Domi with it. In comes Duclair. Duclair for Domi. Missed on the one-timer. Sorokin was down. Final seconds of the period now. Golashev. Not got to an open wing. Domi ahead for Reinhardt. Final seconds. Here's Duclair bringing it in. Duclair works it in. Down low. Reinhardt shoots short side. Sorokin to save. Reinhardt centers it at the horn. Domi got a shot away. And again, the players have to be separated. What a first period. Shots 12-9 Canada. A 2-1 lead after one period of the gold medal game at the 2015 World Junior Hockey Championship. Our first intermission with James Duffy and Bob McKenzie is coming up.
Jumpstart and the Hockey Canada Foundation have created the Big Play program to get 10,000 kids into hockey each year for the next 3 years. Canadian Tire had pledged to donate 25 cents to the Big Play every time TSN's Big Play highlights were retweeted during the World Juniors tournament. But in honor of Canada's amazing efforts and support so far, Canadian Tire will now double its total tournament donation. So get tweeting and retweeting. James Duthie and Bob McKenzie back live from the Air Canada Centre. Well, that was kind of fun. We've seen crazy starts before. In this tournament, Canada's led every game 2-0, but never quite like this, Bob.
No, they really set the tone off the bat, and it was very reminiscent of how they started the game against the Americans on New Year's Eve. Right off the face-off, trying to send a message that even in international hockey, they want to amp up the intimidation factor a little bit. Duclair gave it to the Americans off the bat. Canada went on to win that hockey game and had a good start. Here's Domi doing his thing to try and get the Russians going. The Russians responding in kind, and 23 seconds in, great give and go between Duclair and Domi, with Reinhardt also factoring in there. Just a tremendous start for Team Canada with lots of animosity, and they really liked their start.
You had speculated before the game that even though that they may go to Sorokin because he was so good in the pre-tournament game against Canada, and perhaps they should have, but you have to give credit to Valerie Bragin for doing a little Valerie Keenan and calling the timeout and making the change early.
Yeah, 2:32 in, they're down 2-0. The roof looks like it's going to cave in on the Russians. They put Sorokin in, and he steps up, and he makes some good saves. He reestablishes a little momentum, and then the Russians are able to come back and make something happen and get back into this hockey game. Everything changed after that goal. And it was interesting, too. You get a lot of this in junior hockey, going by the bench, taunting a little bit. We'll see if that plays a factor in the emotional level. Number of things here. Canada's zone exits from the defensive zone, sloppy as we've seen them after that goal. Nick Patan playing on the wing, didn't look real comfortable in his own end, trying to break the puck out. He got dinged up a little bit in the neutral zone. The Paul Virtanen and point line was very good in that period. We wondered how they would function with not having a lot of chemistry in this tournament to step it up. And Foucali's being very sharp, and had to be as that period wore on, because the Russians started to take the game away from Canada.
Yeah, there's a few minutes in the middle there where the Russians really started to dazzle on the offensive end. But Canada's start, Duclair, and then Paul from point. They have a 1-goal lead after one. We continue with intermission number 1 on TSN right after this.
Domi with Leonard Knights, and this is low half wall retrieve. You just grab a puck and chip it in under the hash marks, and you start on one side and a couple quick turns and with some speed, and you go right to the net and finish the shot. This drill is huge because you gotta have a lot of speed, and you gotta be able to protect the puck and bring it to the net and beat the D and try and score on the goal. You can use it 5-on-5, or you can use it on the power play, so it's used in every aspect of the game.
And Max Domi's game-worn sweater currently at $3,400 on the Team Canada eBay auction. You could own a piece of history, bid on game-used sweaters, gloves, helmets from the World Juniors. Proceeds go to the Hockey Canada Foundation and grassroots hockey across Canada. The auction ends January the 7th. Ottawa Senators prospect Nick Paul, his goal, the difference so far, he's with Ryan Rishaug.
Well, Nick, for a boy from Mississauga, that goal had to feel pretty special for you. Maybe take us through it.
Yeah, you know, Point drove down the wing there. I saw him do a quick look, so I knew he was going to throw it to the net. So drove the net, had my stick on the ice, and went in.
2 goals in under 3 minutes. What sorts of things were you saying on the bench, knowing how much game was left and that Russia was going to be coming?
We just couldn't take it to head there. We knew there's lots of game left and they're going to come back hard. So just the game plan was to stick to the same thing we've been always doing and just outwork them every chance we can.
They do have some big defensemen. This game has taken a physical tone. How do you ride that line between not taking those penalties but wanting to push back in this game?
Yeah, for sure. It's a real aggressive game right now. Try to push back as best we can. We got to stay disciplined because they have a good power play. So we just got to stay out of the scrums right now, stay disciplined, and stay out of the box, the biggest thing. But fight back and show them who's boss.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Just an electric atmosphere here at the Air Canada Centre for the drop of the puck, and it turned to bonkers quickly with Canada grabbing that early 2-0 lead, but the Russians right back in it. We'll take you to the drop of the puck for the second right after this on TSN. First period scoring summary brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Domi's first point in Toronto, and Duclair gets it started and was probably Canada's best forward throughout the first 20 minutes. Shots 12-9 Canada. To the second we go with Gord Miller and Ray Ferraro.
What a first period. Ray was chippy before he even started.
It didn't take long to see that these teams were going to try and be very physical with each other. The very opening face-off, both Duclair and Domi are pushing back and forth off the opening draw, and every whistle there seemed to be some of this, but it was also during the play. Morrissey with an open ice hit. Jake Virtanen a couple of times with some reverse hits in the middle of the ice. McDavid got thumped once too. But maybe where the game will settle down a bit physically, it's this penalty by Sharov after the Russians had made the game 2-1. Both teams will want their players to be physical, but to keep it in the context of the whistles, and don't be the one player going to the penalty box and putting your team shorthanded.
2 veteran referees have their hands full tonight. The teams begin the second period at 5-on-5. There's Lashenko and Duclair again. And Reinhart wins the draw back and rolls down to Picali. And Shea Theodore back to pick it up. David of Aldergrove, BC. Up for Darnell Nurse from nearby Hamilton. Domi leaves it there for Reinhart. Reinhart sent it up for Duclair. Shoots. He fired it away wide. And now Theodore has to retreat as Brintsev fires that down to the Canadian zone. Buchnevich leaves it there for Barbashev. Lashenko loose behind the Canadian goal. Lashenko has a look back at the point. Brintsev with it. Lots of traffic. Brintsev shoots. Blocked in front. Quick chance of the rebound. Buchnevich backhanded that wide. And Duclair pokes it up to center ice. As Theodore leaves it there for Duclair.
Nurse got hit in the mouth here on the follow-through of that shot. He's at the Canadian bench.
Now a turnover. Barbashev picks it up. Drops it back, and Mamon's shot was blocked. Out the other side it goes for Theodore. Bowie now out there with him. And Sam Reinhart leaves it there for Bowie. A stick was in the way, but the official picked it up. And Duclair lifts that in the air, but it's knocked down quickly. Brought in by Bjukford. Couldn't get a shot away the first time. Now Bowie with it. And Madison Bowie. Long lead pass for Paul. It's out of his reach, and that'll be an icing call against Canada. Let's join Ryan Rashad.
Gord, along the lines of what you were talking about physicality, I spoke with Martin Raymond, the assistant coach at intermission. He said the players need to make better decisions on the forecheck. The energy has maybe got them making some poor ones. 2 guys are chasing after, trying to run the puck carrier. He said they need to just go one man in, otherwise they're going to end up with odd man rushes back the other way. So they like the energy, but it needs to be controlled.
Sharov against Reinhart for the face-off. And Reinhart wins it cleanly. Back to Theodore. Bowie for Duclair, couldn't clear it out. And Pagan with a shot that deflected off a teammate up and out. And so Canada will be able to change after the icing call had them hemmed in. And now the game settles in a little bit. We've seen this a lot in gold medal games, Ray, over the years. So much emotion in the opening minutes, and then kind of tires guys out and you settle in a bit.
You lose some of your energy with so much of the pushing and shoving between the whistles, but also that initial surge of adrenaline that was very evident from the time the teams came on the ice.
Paul sends it in deep. Lazar on the forecheck now for McDavid with Nick Paul on this line. Back to the line it goes for Bowie. Cross for Morrissey. Josh Morrissey, the backdoor pass, missed McDavid.
So let's keep an eye on Nick Patan, who was rattled a little bit in the first period. He also had some trouble getting the puck off the boards. See if Benoit Groulx gets him back in the middle of the ice. He was playing the wing, where he doesn't normally play with McDavid and Lazar in that first period.
Patan is on the Canadian bench. As Morrissey gains center ice and flips that down. And Sorokin turned that into a bit of an adventure as the Russians are able to clear it out. And Ritchie's back to pick it up. Through the middle for Gauthier, tapped in by Krause, and now on it is Ritchie. Krause comes in as well. The pass missed Ritchie. Provorov can't clear it. He's got Gauthier all over him. And Provorov comes back the other way. Pass hit the heel of his teammate as Kamenev couldn't knock it down. Now he fires it down to the Canadian line, but it's picked off by Krause. In comes Lawson Krause with it now. Wraps it around for Ritchie. Battles there with Provorov. Kamenev hammered by Krause. Picked out by Ritchie. Gauthier comes in on the forecheck. And Valiev lays it up for Goldobin to an open wing. Kamenev pokes it in for the Russians. Kamenev, Goldobin drops it back, and Tolchinsky with a shot. And he lifted it over the glass and out. It might have hit a Canadian stick on the way it did. And they say the face-off will be in the Canadian zone. Now they're changing their mind. And a discussion between the linesmen decide where the face-off will go.
Hetherington whiffs on the puck at the blue line. This shot hits Hetherington's foot. Tolchinsky's going to get the puck. The third man on the rush. Hetherington's turning around. That deflects up into the net.
So the face-off will be in the Canadian zone after a little conference. And Theodore with it. Out for Domi. Along with Reinhardt and Duclair. Sam Reinhardt. End of the day as the tournament point leader. Plays it down for Nurse. Here's Domi. Spins it behind the goal. Feeds back for Nurse. Darnell Nurse. Walks across the top, a long shot, drifts wide, and Sorokin had to kick the puck away off the end boards. Now Reinhardt comes in for it. Lashenko up for Barbashev to Buchnevich, and Nurse stays with him, and Nurse hammers down Buchnevich. Theodore in front for Nurse, and he was being checked there, but Nurse poked to the head for Duclair. Rink wide he goes for Reinhardt, with Virtanen jumping in, Canada in the midst of a change. And Theodore bats it back down to the Russian zone. 13-9, the shots on goal in favor of Canada. Cherepanov for Fishenko. Chips it in for Mammon. And Mammon just missed Ryukin with that pass.
So Patan's back in the middle of the ice here. Now with Point and Virtanen. Nick Paul moved up to the Lazar line.
Point sent flying by Ryukin. No penalty on the play, and Cherepanov has it. Gavrikov up for Mammon. Flips up to the middle of the ice, knocked down by Lazar. And Lazar feeds across to Hickett. Joe Hickett, the Kamloops BC native, for Braden Point. In comes Point for Lazar with a shot that goes wide. And now Patan has it knocked away from him, but it's swatted down the ice. And it'll be an icing call as Dragachev will have to stay on the ice.
Braden Point's the 13th forward on this team. He's had an excellent season in the Western Hockey League with 44 points in 29 games. Had a beautiful assist on Nick Paul's goal in the first period. And here he hooks up with Lazar. Lazar hooks this wide of the net. But really small, really nice small area skills from Curtis Lazar and Braden Point. It's Point's pass that allows Lazar to get in. He's become a very versatile player for Benoit Groulx.
Dragachev shown up. Fishenko takes the draw against McDavid, who wins it cleanly. Back to the point for Bowie. Crossy goes to Morrissey with a shot that was blocked by Dragachev. Remember, the Russians need a change. Dragachev shaken up, trying to fall on the puck, but it's put free by Lazar. And Dragachev just getting to his feet now. McDavid taken down, and Cherepanov has it on the other side. To the line, and to center ice. Ryukin knocks it in. The Russians can begin their change. And Morrissey wheels ahead quickly. Lead pass to McDavid. He's in a roll. Connor McDavid scores! Connor McDavid! 3-1 Canada!
What a beautiful heads-up play by Josh Morrissey on the Canadian blue line. He goes back. Gord, as you mentioned, the Russians can start their change, but watch how slowly they go to the bench, and look at that seam up the middle of the ice. That's a beautiful feed from Josh Morrissey. Once the pass is accepted, you're not going to catch Connor McDavid with that breakaway speed. Smoothly in, wonderfully finished. Canada leads by 2 again.
McDavid with 8 points in his last 4 games in what is quite likely his last game at the World Junior Championship. There's his dad, Brian, mom, and the family looking on from Newmarket, Ontario, just north of Toronto. Playing games at the Air Canada Centre for the first time is Connor McDavid. The quarterfinal match was his first in this arena. Valiev back for it, being watched there by Ritchie. So Canada restores its 2-goal lead. And Gauthier knocks it down for Ritchie. Backhands it back into the Russian zone. Provorov back for it. And Lawson Krause in quickly on the forecheck. Provorov. Slid that ahead, but it's knocked away. Higgins up ahead for Krause. That pass misfired. Valiev for Golishev. And Gauthier stepped in front of that. Knocked down by Krause. Ahead for Ritchie, but they'll say that was played with a high stick. And play is called at the Russian line.
So when the Russian defenders are changing, both of their defensemen go, you see there's nobody in the middle of the ice. They can't get back there to defend that long feed from Morrissey. Head up. Beautifully delivered, and McDavid catches it in stride. Quick hands as he delivers the puck so quickly. The McDavids wave the Canadian flag, and the building erupts for Canada's 3rd goal.
McDavid now tied for the tournament point lead with Nick Patan, 11 each. Dergachev was the guy who had time and iced the puck, Ray. And that got them in that pickle where they couldn't get off the ice in time. And the change wound up costing them a goal.
And then he got hurt blocking a shot, so they were almost shorthanded again. Now they're really in the scramble, and Morrissey and McDavid take over.
Braden Point taps it wide. Point still on it. Works down in the corner for it. Point drops it back for Bowie. Bounce away from Bertanen. It's loose in the corner. And now Point back with it. Calgary native leaves it there for Patan. Nick Patan bobbled the puck again, gets it back, gets hit to the head for Bertanen. Trying to drop it back, it bounces in front of Sorokin, and now Point on the forecheck knocks it away. Here's Point back with it. Still working down low. Point leaves it for Bertanen. Back at the point is Morrissey with a shot. Sorokin got just a piece of that. And they'll say the puck went up and out. Another good chance for Canada moments after Connor McDavid makes it 3-1. Back in Toronto, the first ever NCAA Football National Championship playoff game kicks off next Monday. Tune in as Ohio State and Oregon battle for the title at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on TSN. And right off the draw, Domi was reaching for it. Sharapanov swings it ahead. Lashenko has it on his backhand. Top line up for the Russians now is Lashenko trying to get around Shea Theodore. Sharapanov knocks it down at the line, a long wrist shot. And that was knocked away by Theodore in front of Fucale. Anthony Duclair for Darnell Nurse to Sam Reinhart. Back for Domi. Shot that wide of the goal. Duclair back on it. And Lashenko drops it back for Barbashev. Now the centering pass for Lashenko missed him, but Theodore banks it off the boards, not quite out. And the long shot from Gavrikov went just wide. Here's Domi on it. Domi with Reinhart. Jumping in. Domi with the shot. Scores! Max Domi. 4-1 Canada.
Duclair and Domi carried Canada offensively through the first part of the tournament. Then Lazar and McDavid caught fire. Duclair's got one. Domi takes a shot that misses the net. As Reinhart drives the middle, that gives Max Domi a little time to take it 2 steps to his right. Domi's 5th of the tournament. Heads up, quick release. And he beats Sorokin on the glove side. And Canada's got a 3-goal lead.
And now Bragan, who has changed goalies already, calls timeout with 12:38 to go. So Bragan brings them in after Domi brings them to their feet. Sure he can be heard over this din. But Max Domi, the Toronto native, grew up in this building. And his dad played for Toronto. He was always in the family room. His favorite player was Matt Sundin.
And so Russia, who does not have a shot in this period, rings one around the boards. Domi's able to catch up to it, and the Russian defense is retreating. But with Reinhart going through the middle, that backs up the defender, and Max Domi makes no mistake. And it's 4-1.
Goals 2 minutes and 14 seconds apart. In comes Fishenko trying to center it. Henderson stepped into him. Now Fishenko. For Paul. Up to Lazar. So Nick Paul for now is taking that spot with McDavid and Lazar. And it's brought back by Briuk and lifted down to the Canadian zone. Higgins goes back for it. Chips it for Hetherington. And Dylan Hetherington winds his way ahead. Hangs it off the boards and back down to the zone. Paul waiting for it. He and Princev collide. Lazar kicks at it. And Curtis Lazar. Digging down to the corner along with Paul. The puck moves about 4 feet. Now Paul kicking at it. Princev in on him. And the referee tells him to move, and it finally gets kicked out to Provorov. 16-9, the shots for Canada. Provorov through the middle for Sharov. He was poke checked by Krause. No, long shot taken by Sharov. And Fucali hangs on to it. Closed captioning is brought to you by the Home Depot. Your Home Depot gift card gets you the gift you really want. Let's do this. Back inside the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, the final game of the 2015 World Junior Hockey Championship. Russia got its first shot 8 minutes and 24 seconds into the period. That long wrist shot by Sharov. Now Rafikov with a shot that pinballs around. Goldobin waited across for Kochensky, who shot it wide. Goldobin back on it as Morrissey kicks at it and plays that neatly for Gauthier. Ahead for Ritchie with Krause. The centering pass for a streaking Krause hit a skate, and Canada has to tag back up. Rafikov with it. Snaps it through the middle. It's broken up by Krause. And now back to pick it up is Bowie for Morrissey. Lead pass for Ritchie. Looks ahead for Krause jumping in. Here's Gauthier alone in front. Frederick Gauthier backhanded wide. Gauthier still looking for his first goal in 2 World Juniors. And Goldobin taps it back for Kamenev. Up for Goldobin and across the line. Goldobin shoots, and Fucali knocks that away with the blocker. Quickly on it is Virtanen. Canada changing a jig. Virtanen brings in. What a move by Virtanen. Steps around Cherepanov. Virtanen centers it. Patan shoots. And it's blocked by Cherepanov and sent wide. Now Point back with it. Feeds down to Patan. This all Western League line now. And it knocked away. Goldobin couldn't handle the pass. And Theodore with it. Fires it back down to the Russian zone. Gavrikov for Cherepanov. Up to Buchnevich. And now gloved and kicked and finally moved by Domi. And we'll call that a hand pass at the line.
Lawson Krause stays on the loose puck. He knocks it away from Rafikov, and that's going to allow Gauthier to come in. He fires it onto the backhand side around Sorokin's leg, wide of the net. Ritchie, Krause, and Gauthier have been very good the last couple of games for Canada. They've used their size. They've forechecked well. Both Krause and Ritchie with a goal in the tournament.
Reinhart in for the face-off against Barbashev. And Domi slides it down the Russian zone. Pagan goes back for it, being shadowed there by Domi. Plays it across for Uden, who has the Russian goal. Barbashev with Lashenko in behind the Canadian defense, but Darnell Nurse knocked that down. We got a penalty coming up. It's going against Canada for charging. And the Russians are going to the power play with 9:53 to go in the second period. Domi goes off.
Domi's goal gave Canada a 4-1 lead moments ago. He's going to sit for a couple of minutes here on the charge. It's where he leaves his feet that the call is made. It's not so much that he came too far. As soon as he jumps and turns, the official put his arm in the air. So Russia's power play will have a chance to get them back in the game again. 7 power play goals in the tournament. They got 1 yesterday against Sweden.
That was the first goal the Swedes have allowed in the power play in the tournament. Barbashev leads the way for the Russians with 2 power play goals. He's out there now. Sam Morin on the penalty kill for Canada, poking at it. Tries to fight it free. Gauthier knocked Barbashev down. And now fed across to Rafikov. Rafikov for Buchnevich. And Buchnevich swings it rink wide. The shot by Uden hammered high and wide. Lazar on his backhand, a tough play. And Barbashev took it from him. It's loose in front of the shake. All along the backhand shot. Saved by Fukeli. Still loose. Here's Rafikov with it. Rafikov takes the return pass from Uden across to Buchnevich. And Buchnevich centered it, but Lashenko couldn't reach it. And it's fired down the ice by Morin. Zach Fukeli with a big stop early on this Russian power play. Canada's allowed 1 opposition power play goal in 20 attempts. That was against Team USA. Goldobin drops it back for Valiev. Here comes Rinat Valiev. Plays for Kootenay in the Western Hockey League. Lost it to Hicketts. Hicketts on his backhand as well. Plays it around for Nurse. He's tied up by Goldobin. And now Kroos on his forehand spins and fires it down the ice. Valiev centers it. Knocked down by Nurse, and he'll fire it back down. 35 seconds to go in this Russian power play. 8.5 to go in the second period. Valiev drops it off for Pagan, who scored that power play goal against the Swedes yesterday. Kolchinsky in across the line. Bumped there by Nurse. Hicketts gets to it. Fires it right off Nurse. And that stung Nurse a little bit. Now the puck goes in the corner. Kolchinsky takes a bump from Nurse. Hicketts tried to pick it free. Goldobin knocked it out. Now Nurse back on it. And the battle ensues for the puck as Lazar falls and banks that back down to the Russian zone in the final seconds of the Domi penalty. Domi steps out of the box. Lashenko plays it ahead for Bryukhin. Trying to walk around Bowie. Bryukhin hammered by the Canadian defenseman into the corner boards. Reinhardt on it now. Poke free. Duclair shoots it ahead for Domi. Knocked away from him. The play remained onside for a moment, but now Reinhardt has it along with Domi. In comes Max Domi along with Sam Reinhardt. Shoots, scores! Reinhardt with the tip. Canada with the goal, and it's 5-1.
Paul and Teresa Reinhardt in the middle of that shot. Their boy scores again. All 3 forwards on this line. Duclair, Domi, Reinhardt with a goal. Reinhardt starts the play and then back to the middle of the ice. That's where he was when Domi scored. Domi's just shoveling this to the front of the net. There's the deflection from Reinhardt. It squeaks through the pads of Sorokin. And Canada has stretched this out big time.
Reinhardt with a point in all 7 of Canada's games. Now, at one point, Valeri Bragin looked over to Shesterkin, who's been pulled from this game, and nodded to him, but they stay with Sorokin in the Russian goal. Now Sorokin back forward. 5 goals on 17 shots for Canada. Hetherington with it now. Shoots that one to goal. Patan digging for it. And Patan on it. Sherov up for Golashev. Hicketts intercepts and lifts it back down to the Russian zone. Here's Point back on it. Braden Point wins that race to the puck. Plays it across for Vertanen. Back to Patan. Uden. Squeeze that ahead for Dergachev. And Dergachev works it ahead. Dergachev lost the puck to Vertanen and rings it around the boards. Now Sherov back on it. Sherov knocked down by Vertanen. Played across with a shot. Taken Brinson with a drive. Fukeli to stop. And a penalty coming in front of the Canadian goal. And the Russians are going back to the power play. Another big night for Max Domi.
Canada shorthanded after Domi's charging penalty. It's Vertanen for boarding. And so Russia, trying to find a straw back into this game, has a chance here on the power play again.
Russians had 1 shot in their first power play. Hetherington off the face-off win sends it out. Now Gauthier digging for it. Fired back in, but the Russians have to tag back up. And they're going to call this icing against the Russians as the pass misfired and the face-off all the way back down to the Russian zone.
Quietly, Benoit Gru ended up with Zach Fucale as the goaltender through the medal round. Watch how he follows the puck. His head is right on it. His eyes are right on it. His parents can breathe as the puck is stopped and cleared. But Fucale has done it very quietly, done an excellent job for Canada in goal.
Leads the tournament save percentage coming in. Here's Lashenko, rings it around, looking for Barbashev. Vucinovic on it now. And Moran picks it up and squeezes that by Rafikov and back out. And Sorokin plays it back. You wonder how seriously Bragan thought about changing goalies again. Vucinovic makes an extra move at the line, stays onside. Vucinovic feeds back to Uden. Off to Rafikov. And here's Rafikov across the top with it. Works it back. Uden feeds across. Vucinovic a drive. Fucale save. Barbashev digging for it. Scores! Barbashev a power play goal. And the Russians trail 5-2.
While was Barbashev digging at the rebound. 3 power play goals in the tournament for Barbashev. The St. Louis Blues second-round draft choice is right in front of Fucale. Fucale's looking for the puck. It hits him in the chest. He can't handle it. And it just squeaks through his legs before Joe Hicketts can get to it. It's through the first time. Hicketts can't quite get there as Fucale's foot pushes it backwards. This will be a great look at it. There's the battle in front. Hicketts has a stick on it. Fucale ends up pushing it back in the net. And Russia makes it 5-2.
Barbashev with his 3rd power play goal of the tournament. Plays for Moncton in the Quebec Major Junior League. His 3rd year with that franchise, a second-round pick of the St. Louis Blues. He got 22 goals in 29 games in the Quebec League.
Next 5.5 minutes, vital here for Canada to run this period out as much as they can in the Russian zone. Keep their 3-goal lead. You know how the game starts to feel a little edgy if it gets to 2. Still lots of time left. You don't want to let Russia back into it.
Patan ahead for point. Valiev sweeps that away, plays that to an open wing. It's picked off by Patan. Sends it down in front. He shot it wide. Now Bowie back with it. Madison Bowie centers it. And just missed for Tannen. Now Patan hits centering pass for point. Just missed. Bowie plays it back in, but it's picked off by Valiev. Lead pass for Goldobin. In behind Bowie. 2-on-1 for Russia. Goldobin plays it across. They score! And just like that, the Russians are back within 2. Tapped home by Tolchinsky, and it's 5-3.
32 seconds. A 5-1 lead becomes 5-3. Madison Bowie jumps up to keep the puck in and then gets beat up the wing. It's a really nice play across to Tolchinsky. Tolchinsky's got 4 goals in the tournament. He goes right through the legs of Fucale. That's a really nice play by Goldobin. The puck was pushed up the boards, and that put Bowie in a chasing position. It gave Goldobin a chance to find Sergei Tolchinsky. And it's now 5-3.
Domi sweeps it up to center ice. And Hetherington plays it across for Hicketts. Chipped in by Domi. Knocked down by Cherepanov. By the way, is not related to the late Alexei Cherepanov, the New York Ranger draft pick who passed away in the KHL. That centering pass goes in behind the goal. Now Mammon with it. Feeds it back in front. And a quick shot taken there by Fushenko is stopped by Fucale.
Wow, what a time for that stop. Canada breaks down on the cycle as the puck goes back behind the net. Fushenko's going to be wide open about 20 feet from the net. And this shot's actually going to hit Fucale right in that throat protector, right at the base of the mask. Fucale, an aggressive push out of the net to get to the top of the crease to make the stop.
Morrissey, for Krause, he couldn't knock it out. Now Morrissey plays that to the line, but again knocked out as Sharov plays it back in.
We haven't seen the McDavid-Lazar line in a little bit here since prior to the penalty for sure.
And Uden back to pick up the loose puck. It's the Gauthier line out there now for Canada. And Dergatchev with it. Alexander Dergatchev plays for St. Petersburg in the KHL.
Bump there by Morrissey. Loose in the corner now. Durganchev still with it. Wraps it around in front. Back to go to Yudin with time. He shoots. And that was blocked by Krause. Back up to center ice it goes. Under 4 to go in the second period. And jumping in is Buchnevich. Taken down by Moran. And a penalty coming. A tripping call to Sam Moran. And the Russians are going back to the power play with 3:48 to go in the second period.
A pass through the middle of the ice. It's deflected and tipped to the left of Sam Moran, who's all of a sudden chasing the play. It turns quickly. Now Moran has to attack back. He makes contact with the feet of Buchnevich. And the Russians, with their third power play here in the second period, they've got one on the power play.
And Barbashev is out there now for the face-off won by Reinhart, and the puck sent down the ice. Buchnevich with it. Across for Rafikov. 3.5 to go in the second period. Lashenko looks back to Barbashev. Rafikov plays it across. Takes the return pass. It skipped off his stick. Now Rafikov racing to it. Rintsev also back at the point. Here's Buchnevich. Tried to feed it back. The pass was blocked by Lazar. Buchnevich still with it. At the wall, Seal plays it back for Rintsev. Across he goes for Rafikov. Sends it back to the slot. It's fired down the ice by Reinhart. And Canada will gain.
Really good read by Reinhart. The puck went on the left wall. They were moving it down. They looked to the middle of the ice, and Reinhart read the play, stole the puck, and cleared it down the ice.
Now Rafikov with it. Rushan Rafikov fires it around. Hedrington on it. Bangs it off the glass and back down. Under a minute to go in this Russian power play. Valiev. The Toronto third-round pick drops it back for Goldobin. Nikolai Goldobin, a San Jose first-round pick. Played back for Pagan. Back to Valiev. Valiev centers it. Played across by Kamenev. Another chance in front. Oh, what a chance in front. Goldobin scores! Nikolai Goldobin pokes it home, and it's 5-4. And Vladislav Tretiak suddenly sees his team and his nation back in it. This is unbelievable.
The puck's going to come down to Tolchinsky on the right side here. He's going across. It's stopped once. This goes off of Freddie Gauthier's shin pad. Goldobin's shot is stopped by Zach Fucale. Watch the puck bounce out in the slot, and it hits the pad of Gauthier off the skate of Bowie and in the net.
And now it's Benoit Grou's chance to call timeout. So both teams have burned their timeout. Wow. We've seen this before, Ray. Think about Buffalo in 2011 when the Russians came back from a 3-0 deficit. The next year in 2012 in Calgary, the Russians led 5-1 and then 6-1. Canada got to 6-5. So both Bragan and Grue urging their teams on in a white-knuckle gold medal game here at the World Junior. The second period's not over yet.
Benoit Grue in the timeout was talking to the team about, we knew it was a 60-minute game. Keep playing aggressively. They come back out of the timeout with Reinhart.
3 goals in 3 minutes and 16 seconds for the Russians, who now have the edge in shots, 19-17. That's chipped by Morrissey, and Fishenko racing in on him. Morrissey went high off the glass, really high, almost put that out. And Ryukvin knocks it back in. Morrissey back for it. Under 2 to go now in the third period, or second period rather. And it's played across for Hickett. Up to Duclair, who chips it to the line, but not out. Fishenko with it. And finally knocked out by Domi. And we haven't seen McDavid for a long time with all the penalties. Duclair knocked that right in the stick of Sherrod. And Duclair comes back to take that away. Reinhart knocks it out.
He's got to get him back on the... Benoit Grue's got to get him back on the ice here.
So Lazar hops on, and here comes McDavid to take off Reinhart. Yudin with it. At the line, Theodore plays it there for Lazar. And Yudin Flips it back down to the Canadian zone. Theodore goes back for it. Shea Theodore with a head of steam. Works his way ahead for McDavid. Connor McDavid in across the line. Posts up, has a look. Being watched there by Udin. Lazar comes in as well. And Pagan took it away from him. Pagan just shovels out to center ice. Final minute now of the second period. Lazar waits for McDavid to get back onside. Here comes Lazar. Feeds it back in front for McDavid. It passes at his feet. And Golashev had a knock by him by Theodore. The play remains onside. Lazar down to McDavid. Works it back in front. Poke check there by Pagan. Paul back for Theodore. For Nick Paul. Swats that down towards the goal. McDavid had a stick lifted. And now Lazar leaves it there for Paul. Theodore holds the line. Feeds it across the nurse. Back in front of Lazar. Taking the shot away. As Golashev got a stick on him. And back goes Theodore for it. 20 seconds to go in the period. Russians are changing. Lead pass for Nurse. In comes Darnell Nurse. He failed a shot. And racing up is Theodore. Chance now for McDavid in the late stages of the period. McDavid works back in front. Backhand shot goes wide. Penalty coming. Could be a penalty shot here. It's played back. And Princev is back for it. Time's going to expire here. And what's the call? It's a hook. It's not a penalty shot. The Russians are going to start the third period on the power play.
Darnell Nurse gets up in the play, and that leaves Reinhart back. There's the hook as Buchnevich drives the net, gets on the inside of Sam Reinhart. So Canada will start shorthanded and without their best penalty-killing forward in what was a 5-1 lead is now 5-4.
Wow. What a gold medal game. And more to come. Our second intermission with Bob McKenzie and James Duthie coming up from a 2015 World Junior Hockey Championship.
Well, it's Canada-Russia, and it's been nuts through two periods of play. A 5-1 lead, now 1 for Canada at 5-4 with 20 minutes left to play. James Duthie and Bob McKenzie back with your second intermission. Gord mentioned it. I just can't get over the wild momentum swings in Canada-Russia. It's like no other series in this World Junior or almost any level of hockey we've seen.
Well, you go back to Buffalo, Canada, the 3-0 lead. They ended up losing that game 5-3. You go back to Calgary in that World Junior, and Canada was down 6-1 and almost came back to win it, but lost 6-5. And in that period, the unraveling started with penalties. Domi took one. They didn't get scored on that one, but Virtanen goes to the box, and not long after that, a 5-1 lead becomes 5-2. Continued problems. Madison Bowie jumps up, gets caught. Next thing you know, they come down. It's 5-3, just like that. Great skill off the rush. Sam Morin dives for a puck into the penalty box. And again, another power play goal for the Russians. 5-4. Late in the period, Reinhart has to take his man down, Buchnevich. Russia starts the third period with a power play for 2 minutes.
And 5 goals allowed in the first 6 games through Canada, now 4 allowed through 2 periods in this one. But let's not ignore the first 13 minutes or so, which were very good. Connor McDavid now 11 points in this tournament. Just for comparison, Sidney Crosby at the same age back in Dakota, 9 points for the tournament. So he's right there.
Getting better every game and really hitting his peak right now. And the big problem here, and that, by the way, is a play that he seldom makes. He rarely goes 5-hole on a shot. He's been terrific in this tournament, getting better and better all the time. But the problem, as Ray alluded to in that period, he didn't get enough ice time. He's emerging as Canada's top player in this game, but he barely saw any ice time in that second period, in large part because Canada was killing so many penalties.
Braden Point also with his best period probably of the tournament, but it is a 1-goal lead for Canada. Max Domi with 3 points, Reinhart with that goal, even though they credit it to Domi, but the Russians come back late. Renee Fossell, the president of the IIHF, next.
Giddy up, hurry up! Brad Bowen was my coach growing up. He was my power skating coach, stick handling coach, my Yale Hockey Academy instructor, my spring hockey coach, minor hockey coach. I could just keep on going on. Pretty much in his hockey programs throughout my whole life.
Nice play, Rizzy. Nice play.
I would even go on 2 or 3 times a day when I was younger just to, go on the ice with Brad.
Stay on it. Stay on it. Come on.
He expects the best out of every guy.
Come on, Sharpie. You got to hit the net there, Sharpie.
When I was about 3 or 4 years old, he kicked me and my cousin off the ice because we were goofing around a little bit. And ever since then, I knew I had to focus.
Hurry up. Hurry up. Let's go. Let's go. Pace. Pace. I'm not going to let you shoot because you missed the net 3 times. Huh?
He treats me a little different than most guys. It's kind of like him as part of his family. It's just really cool.
Well, 3 goals in 7 minutes for Canada, followed by 3 goals in just over 3 minutes for Russia, and we have a 1-goal game headed to the 3rd period for gold at the World Juniors. Here's the president of the International Ice Hockey Federation, Renee Fassel. How is this for advertisement for this tournament?
It's just great. I mean, it's a dream as always. Canada playing Russia, Russia playing Canada. It's just great for the hockey fans.
What does it say about the increasing competitiveness at the tournament that Slovakia wins its 2nd ever medal, 2nd ever bronze, and Denmark now looks like a credible Pool A team, at least this year?
Yeah, it's really good for the tournament, but also here we see that goaltending more and more is key in a tournament like this. And both teams, they had very good goaltenders.
What a moment it was as Slovakia wins bronze, and the way the Canadian crowd got behind them really throughout the tournament, especially the goaltender, Dennis Godla. Overall attendance will rank amongst the highest ever in this tournament, but you did express disappointment with Montreal and the numbers there. What would you like to see happen in 2017 when Montreal and Toronto are supposed to co-host it again?
Actually, today I had the discussion with the mayor of Montreal. He called me and promising me that he will do everything possible to make it better in 2017. So I'm really happy that the mayor calling me and telling me that it will be better in 2017.
So you think both cities should still co-host?
I think so. Montreal is still a really, really important city for hockey, as Toronto is. I mean, they are the 2 most important. And having this competition there, that is just great for a hockey fan like I am. To be in Montreal and Toronto, it's just fantastic.
Renee Fassel, thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
The president of the International Ice Hockey Federation. We have 20 minutes left. It's been a wild first 40 between Canada and Russia. We'll take one more break, exhale, and get ready for the 3rd. Second period scoring summary brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. 2 major storylines. The Russian goaltending's been an issue. Canada 3 goals on 5 shots in that period. Also the penalties, 2 Russian power play goals, and again a full 2-minute power play to start the 3rd with Reinhart in the box. Gordon Ray, have your call.
All right, Ray, we know the Russians are going on the power play. What are we looking for?
We have to be very aware of the way the Russian defensemen shoot the puck. Gord, they've got a couple of guys that can absolutely pound it. In the first period, Dmitry Yudin got the Russians on the board with a rocket up over the glove of Zach Fucale. And as much as we've always seen and talked about Russian skill, and they do have plenty of it, it's the way they fire it from the blue line that Canada's going to have to be aware of, in particular on this power play. The chances start there. They're generated there. They've got the 1 goal by Yudin. This one, the Barbashev shot rebound starts with a point shot that Fucale can't handle. And now 2 minutes on the power play and a chance to tie with Canada's best penalty killer, Sam Reinhart, in the penalty box.
Everything we'd ask for from a gold medal game and more. And who knows what's ahead. It'll be Gauthier to take the face-off to start the period. Moran and Hetherington on the back end. And Lazar, the other penalty-killing forward. Barbashev will run things for the Russians. Along with Tolchinsky. And Buchnevich up front. Rafikov swings it back to Yudin. Brought in by Buchnevich now. He slides it across the line. The puck on the line. Barbashev kept it alive, but now it goes off the skate of Lazar. And back down to the Russian line. And here's your theory, Ray, about power plays to start a period. The Elias Sports Bureau tells us that NHL teams are far less effective when they start the period in the power play than they are in the middle of a period. You'd lost the puck. Gauthier with it, trying to kick it ahead. And Frederick Gauthier jumps ahead, but Lazar peeled off on a change. Rafikov for Lashenko to Buchnevich. And the Russians changing as well. Buchnevich rattles that around. Fucali leaves it there. Moran can't clear it out. Now Paul comes in to help out. Back at the point, held by Rafikov. Brings it back across to Valiev. Valiev shoots, that's blocked, and fired down the ice by Nurse.
Just for an example, Gord, if this power play had been at the end of the second period with the way that the Canadians had given up the three goals late, you could sense the momentum was so great against them. Now you just got a new period, you've got a one-goal lead, and look how comfortable they've killed off the first minute and 18 seconds.
45 seconds to go on the power play. Brought in by Tolchinsky. Fucali hangs on to that, gets a snow shower from Tolchinsky, and Darnell Nurse gives his junior teammate an earful for that.
Tolchinsky goes in and gives Fucali a little bit of a face wash as Nurse shoves him out of the way.
Gauthier now against Goldobin for the face-off. Scramble draw controlled by the Russians. Mamin plays it back and takes the return pass. Mamin drops it down to Fishenko. Here's Pagan with it. Down to Fishenko. Two Russians standing in front. Fishenko works in. Centers it, and it's kicked away by Nurse. Valiev in the corner with it, fired down the ice by Lazar. 15 seconds to go with the Reinhart penalty.
Lazar might normally not be out there with the penalty to Reinhart. He's there. He's made two real terrific kills.
And here in the first 2 minutes, comes in and shoots. And Fucali made the stop. The rebound dropped down, but Fucali's got it. And Sam Reinhart is about to step out. He's got 1 second to go in his penalty.
So as I mentioned, with Reinhart in the box, Lazar on the penalty kill. He's killed a lot of penalties this year in Ottawa with the Senators. Exhale for Sam Reinhart. Now they're a face-off here that Max Domi will take, and that'll jump Reinhart back into the play.
Against Sharov. And Domi able to scramble the draw. Picked up by Duclair, and Reinhart joins the rush. In comes Sam Reinhart. Bobbled it for a moment. Slides it ahead for Duclair. Anthony Duclair loose behind the Russian goal. He scored second into this game in the first period. And now Duclair poking at it, loose in front. And Sorokin has it for the Russians as Sam Reinhart was digging for the loose puck.
A little zone time is needed for Canada here. Cycle the puck a bit. McDavid, Lazar, and Nick Paul coming back on the ice, as Bob talked about during the intermission, and we talked about late in the second period. Not enough ice time for Connor McDavid as they fell out of the rotation with the penalties. You got to get him back on the ice. This line has been just, well, Lazar and McDavid have been absolutely electrifying. Nick Paul with a first period goal on a pass from Braden Point.
Paul kicking out, he's knocked down by Rafikov. And now Theodore collided with Nurse, but Darnell Nurse plays it back down to the Russian line. Brinsev across to Rafikov. Knocked down by Theodore. Nurse swings back to pick it up. The puck bouncing down there. And now McDavid to the line, but not out. Rafikov, a bullet shot. Fucali makes the stop and pounces on the rebound.
Gord, this puck drops about a foot on Zach Fucali. He's in excellent position as it comes back to Rafikov, who can really shoot the puck. He tees this up, and it drops and hits Fucali. Look at that thing dive. Really good stop.
Now look out. Bowie lifted it off the glass. That was about an inch from going out. Played back to Goldobin. Works in, waits for help, drops it back to play across for Tolchinsky. Tried to send it again. Ritchie knocked it down. Lifted to the line, but not out. Kamenev with it. Shoots, blocked by Krause, and the puck comes out. How many hundreds of times do you think Canadian players will be looking at the clock here in the third period?
Well, if they do, it's not going to go anywhere. It moves so slowly when you're hoping for it to drain.
Ritchie pokes it ahead. Provorov trying to knock him off the puck. Kolchinski with it. Brings it back across to Kamenev. And back to Udin. Dmitry Udin slides it ahead. In comes Mashenko with his shot, and Fukali steers that up and out. Well, time now for Chevy Possibilities, and today we feature Nick Petan. And what an extraordinary World Junior career. He's had 16 points in 13 games coming in at 2 World Juniors, number 2 in Western Hockey League points last year. Biggest impact of his career, mom and dad. We saw his dad, Frank, after Petan scored his 3rd goal in the semis, come down and throw a hat on the ice. Mammon shoots, Fukali save. Bouncing puck goes to Paul. And we'll say that puck was played with a high stick in the Canadian zone. The face-off will come back in.
Nick Petan's played a pretty minimal role here since getting hit in the first period. He loses this draw. Quick shot by Mammon, knocked aside by Joe Hicketts. And so Freddie Gauthier will come on the ice to take this draw to the left of Fukali.
And wins it back for Hetherington. Dylan Hetherington pivots back and finds Paul with it. That pass picked off. And now walking across the line is Bryukvin, who fired it after the whistle. Hetherington didn't like that, as the play was called at the Canadian line.
If Gauthier is going to be taking the draws in the defensive zone, he has to be comfortable staying on the ice. Look, he's heading off the ice. Nick Paul needs him as an outlet in the middle of the ice. So if Gauthier stays on the ice just a bit longer, they can get the puck to the red line, get it in, and then get a change.
Russia out shooting Canada 5-0 here in the 3rd period. Fukali leaves it there for Bowie. Madison Bowie for Anthony Duclair. Banks it ahead for Domi, who chips it down the Russian zone. Gavrikov goes back for it, skates away from Domi. Slides it ahead for Sharov. Rink wide he goes for Golishev. His centering pass knocked down by Duclair. Bowie picks it up. And Domi hovering for it. Rink wide takes the pass from Reinhardt. Tried to chip it ahead, but the play was going to be offside. Now Domi fires it in. And Canada changes D. Long lead feed to Golishev. And Nurse taps that to the line, but not out. Dergachev with it. Now Dergachev looks behind the Canadian goal. Being watched there by Nurse, Dergachev. And Nurse collide. McDavid pokes it free. Lazar racing to it. Rafikov got there first. Here's Dergachev bumping again with Nurse. They tangle it behind the goal. Dergachev trying to fish it out. Still on it. He and Nurse battling for 20 seconds down there. Theodore picks it up for Lazar. And play continues as McDavid jumps to the loose puck. Pokes that across the line for Paul. They call it offside at the Russian line. What a battle between Darnell Nurse and Alexander Dergachev.
Dergachev has about 10 pounds on Nurse. They're both 6'4", and this battle continues for about 20 seconds. They've separated once, now right back to it again. Nurse pushing hard on Dergachev, who protects the puck, and then eventually Nurse is going to drive him into the end boards. That is a puck battle.
Gauthier won that draw so cleanly it chases Hetherington back to the Canadian zone. And Lashenko was watching him. Hicketts for Krause. Back across to Hetherington. Back across to Hicketts. 24-17 now. The shots for Russia. Joe Hicketts picks his way through center ice. Jumps in across the line. Hicketts shoots. Bounces off the end boards. Hicketts gets a chance. Loose in front. Sorokin down. The puck was loose. Ritchie couldn't get there. Krause shoots. That was blocked in front. Racing to it is Gauthier. But the Russians move it out. Barbashev across for Buchnevich. Walking in Buchnevich with a shot. He fired it wide. Rattles around the boards to Ritchie. In comes Nick Ritchie with Lawson Krause. Ritchie steaming in. Throws it back in front. That's knocked away by Sorokin. Sent flying. There was Reinhardt. No penalty on the play. Reinhardt jumps in, shoots. That was blocked by a sprawling Udin. Ritchie shoots from a sharp angle. Sorokin shuts it down. Bodies flying. Pucks to the goal. Lots of chances. Bowie plays it ahead. And now at the line, Bowie has to retreat. Barbashev couldn't knock it ahead. Here's Duclair with a chance. Walking in. Duclair waits and shoots. Sorokin makes the save. Gallia clears the rebound. Reinhardt plays it back down. And Duclair couldn't reach it.
Oh, Canada had too many men on the ice. Gord Virtanen jumped on the ice early. He was about 25 feet on the ice. He got back to the bench undetected.
Valiev works it across to Goldobin. Drops it back for Tolchensky. Duclair picks it off. Can't clear it out. Now bounces off Duclair. He's got Domi with him. In comes Max Domi. And Provorov took that away from him. Provorov. Off ahead for Tolchensky. He was poke checked by Virtanen. Gets it right back. Tolchensky in. Shoots it wide. Now back the other way they come. Point in across the line. Drops it off for Virtanen. Back for Point. That skipped away. Point. Leaves it in the corner for Virtanen. Goldobin lost the puck. Here's Virtanen with it. His pass picked off. And Provorov swings back. Long stretch with whistles here in the third period. Buchnevich up for Mammon. Mammon centers with the pass. Just missed Fishenko. And Point back on it. He was taken down. And Virtanen brings it ahead. Canada changing as Jake Virtanen comes in. He lost the puck. And now Bryukfin moves out ahead for Fishenko. He's tied up by Paul, and Fishenko has to retreat with Nick Paul all over him. Bridsev swings around Paul, works across the line. McDavid broke it up, and Connor McDavid kicks it ahead. And McDavid forces the turnover. Here's Paul with it. Couldn't get it deep, and Rafikov plays it ahead for Mammon. Maxim Mammon. Hard pass ahead for Golishev. Golishev from a sharp angle. Works it back in front and shot it wide. On the other side, Valiev shoots, tipped just wide of the goal again as it skipped through the crease. Morrissey for Lazar. And Curtis Lazar on it. Now back at the point, Brimsev plays it across. Skipped away from Valiev. The Russians need a change. And that gives Valley a chance to go ahead to Lazar with McDavid. Canada changing as Lazar brings it in. Curtis Lazar walks in on Brimsev. Still with it. Lazar buys some time. Fresh legs on the ice now for Canada. Lazar sends it right on the stick, though, of Fishenko. Now Fishenko plays it around. Nurse with a rolling puck in behind the goal. He bats it across for Theodore. Durkachev battling again with Nurse. And Nurse wins that one easily. Canada breaks out 5 wide. Darnell Nurse flips it across for Ritchie. Can't get it off Provorov, and now the Russians with a chance back the other way, but Gauthier hustled back to break it up. Durkachev fires it down, and here's Hetherington with it. Hetherington failing that pass. A rolling puck now. Buchnevich picks it up. Buchnevich plays it back. Rafikov across to Uden. Uden plays it down low. A chance now for the Russians. Hold on. See Uden with a shot. Gloved down by Fucali. He couldn't hang on. Goldobin loose behind the Canadian goal. The puck rolled on him. Almost 5 minutes now without a whistle. And played down by Ritchie, but that's going to be an icing call against Canada with 10:18 to go in the third period.
So Canada can't call a timeout. They can't make a change. The only fortunate thing for them here, it's their best face-off man from this side. Frederic Gauthier is on the ice. You see them all doubled over, trying to catch their breath. It's a big draw here for Gauthier.
Won cleanly by the Russian. Gavrikov's shot was blocked by Ritchie. Now Canada needs a change. We saw the Russians get hemmed in for a goal earlier. Now it's flipped out. And that puck will die in the defensive zone, and Canada makes the change as the Reinhart line comes on. Midway point of the third period.
Remember, in the second period, you get stuck with the long change like the Russians did. That time, Canada was able to easily get to the bench and get their exhausted players off.
Sharapanov plays it ahead for Tolchinsky. Works in 1-on-4. Tolchinsky knocked down by Bowling. Here's Morrissey with it ahead for Duclair. With Reinhart and Domi, 3-on-2. Anthony Duclair across to Domi. Sends it back in front. Reinhart just missed it. Now Duclair drops it down to Domi. Domi works it and shoots. Save made by Sorokin. Rebound loose in front. Domi can't connect. And picked out now by Fishenko. Up ahead to Tolchinsky. His centering pass. Walking right in. The shot by Rafikov was blocked. Another shot for Kelly makes the save. Loose in front again. Reinhart knocks it away. And it's picked off by Duclair. The Russians are changing As Duclair comes in, knocked away from him. 9 to go now. In the third period, Patan swings back. And Patan across to Hicketts. Hicketts tried to play that ahead, knocked away. Hicketts gets it right back and plays it back down to the Russian zone. Valiev across to Provorov. Fired down to the Canadian zone. It skips back in front. That'll be an icing call against the Russians. 8:38 to go in the third.
Provorov was about 3 feet short of the red line. They call it much tighter in international play. Here's Madison Bowie up to crush Tolchensky with the hit in the open ice. Later in the shift, he had a nice block. Canada trying to defend very stoutly here. Bowie, good position. That's it for Tolchensky. And here's the block. This is a really dangerous scoring chances. Rapikov had moved into the slot. And Bowie snuffs that one out too.
Now the McDavid line is on. Knock ahead for Sherov. Bowie steps into him and back goes Morrissey for it. Morrissey rings it around. And Uden goes back. Icing was waved off. Dimitri Uden. A central part of the drama this afternoon and this evening. As Uden goes back for it. Swings it back for Pagan. Pinballs around at center ice, goes right to Lazar. And Curtis Lazar lifts it in, gets around Pagan. Has a look. Lazar digs in the corner for it. McDavid down there as well.
Nick Ritchie on this line now.
Buchnevich in across the line. Looked like it might have been offside of the Canadian line. The crowd hollering about that. Theodore lost the puck. Pagan had it picked off by Theodore. Shea Theodore ahead for McDavid. Puts it ahead for Krause. 2-on-1 with Ritchie. Nick Ritchie in. Krause shoots. Oh, what a save by Sorokin on the 2-on-1. Chopped back into the slot. Buchnevich knocks it down. And Buchnevich winds it across the line with Lashenko. Poked away from him. And Gauthier played that high off the glass. And it bounces into the Canadian bench. What a chance for Lawson. Crouch. Sorokin makes the stop. Let's check out the Molson Canadian Slapshot Beer Fridge. Earlier today at Molson Canadian Hockey House at Real Sports, Nathan Sheriff Talent, where he opened the fridge on his first shot, won 2 tickets to the gold medal game and 2 Team Canada sweaters.
What a stop here as Sorokin moves across laterally to deny Lawson Krause on the 2-on-1.
Sharapanov plays it back in deep. Hicketts picks it up, being harassed from behind there by Tolchensky. And now Hicketts with it. Joe Hicketts trying to swing that rink wide. Kamenev got a stick on it, and Krause had to tip it back. Now Hetherington across to Hicketts. Up ahead for Krause, who chips that down to the Russian zone. Sharapanov goes back for it. Ritchie got there in on him. And Sharapanov peels back, but Ritchie stays with it. Kamenev being shadowed there by Duclair. And Kamenev works it back to center ice, lines it ahead. Hetherington tried to knock it down, got it away from Goldobin. And Reinhart plays that for Duclair. Back ahead for Reinhart with Domi. Sam Reinhart feeds Domi. Domi from a sharp angle, put that high. Duclair on the rolling puck. Into the corner, Kamenev plays it away. Moved up by Sharapanov as the Russians are changing. Through the middle they come. In comes Mammon. Knocks the Mammon, knocked down by Nurse.
Oh, is he having a third period? Darnell Nurse made a couple really strong defensive plays.
Here's Rafikov ahead for Mammon. Now a bouncing puck in the slot. Nurse can't clear it out. Brigtsev shoots. Hit the stick of Braden Point. Mammon loose in behind the Canadian goal. Moves to the corner. Theodore steps up on him. And the puck goes to Nurse to Point. Canada needs a change. Point gains center ice and dumps it in deep. Sorokin out to play it. And Point almost knocked it down. Now Paul does. Nick Paul kicks out of the corner. Point plays it in. And Rafikov with it. Dergachev lines it across the line. Dergachev trying to step around Hetherington, who stays with him. And the puck loose down in the corner. Dergachev kicking at it. Still loose down low. Hicketts poked at it. Paul racing to it. Knocked down by Valiev. Sent it back in front. The bouncing puck scooped up by Paul. And ahead for Patan. He looked ahead for Point. The puck dies there as Provorov goes back. Icing waved off and Canada changes. to go here in period number 3.
The Canadian bench has been remarkably loose here in the third period. A lot of chatter as they try to defend this 1-goal lead.
And there is the trophy. Gauthier out for the face-off, so you'll see a lot of Gauthier for defensive zone draws here in the late stages of the third period. McDavid out there along with Lazar. And it's Barbashev for the Russians. Scrambled face-off, won by Gauthier, takes down Barbashev. Buchnevich on it now. Try to poke that in front, knocked away by Gauthier, and that goes off his stick. Up and out. Close captioning is brought to you by the Home Depot. Your Home Depot gift card gets you the gift you really want. Let's do this. And because the puck went off a Russian stick, the face-off comes outside the Canadian line. Now you've got Reinhart, Duclair, and Domi for Canada.
I think we're going to see a lot of Reinhart here in the last 5 minutes. This line has been a leaned upon line for Benoit Groulx this entire tournament.
Reinhart wins the draw. Domi plays it back for Nurse across to Theodore. To Reinhart. And now Valiev chased back by Reinhart. And Reinhart forced him off the puck, jumping into Duclair on it. Anthony Duclair works it back in the corner. Feeds back to the point. Theodore a long shot. Sorokin gloves that. And hangs on with 4:33 to go in the third.
So really clever forecheck here by Sam Reinhart. He's not going to be able to get to him immediately, so he mirrors Valiev the entire way back. There's nowhere for Valiev to go, and when he tries to use the net for a defender to cut away from Reinhart, Reinhart dives on the other side to steal the puck.
Lazar wins the draw. McDavid pokes it back, and now Lazar on it for Paul. Kamenev with it. Up for Tolchinsky. And Sergei Tolchinsky brings it ahead. Tolchinsky throws it back to the slot. That missed. Rafikov shoots. That is Goldobin, his teammate. Now Rafikov back with it. Shoots again. Right on. And Fucali kicks it away. Now Lazar works ahead with McDavid. Connor McDavid tries to sweep it ahead. And does down to the Russian corner. 4 to go in the third period. And Tolchinsky, exhausted, just chips that down to the Canadian zone. Hetherington to Ritchie, who sweeps it down to the Russian end. Tarapanov with it. For Bryukfin. Racing toward his Hickett, takes a swat at that. And it's chopped out by Gauthier. Tarapanov brings it around. Bryukfin racing to it along with Fishenko. Can't knock it out. It's loose in front. Mammon can get a shot away. Gauthier was being hooked there by Fishenko. And now Hickett has it. Gains center ice and sweeps it down. And Canada will change. Mammon with it now. Picked off by Duclair. And Duclair sweeps it in deep. Tarapanov being shadowed there by Reinhart. And Mammon swings back for it. Maxim Mammon. Plays for CSK Moscow. And the KHL, the bouncing puck in the Canadian zone. And calmly played ahead by Reinhart. 3 to go in the third. Reinhart ahead for Domi. He's knocked off the puck by Tarapanov. And Newton plays that down to the Canadian zone. And icing waved off. As Morsey plays it around, Durganchev picks it off. Throws it to the slot. Picked off there by Gauthier. And Frederick Gauthier has it. Game center ice, banks that softly down to the Russian zone. Rink wide is Durganchev. Tops it back for Sharov. In comes Sharov with a chance. Shoots, he missed wide. Rattles around the boards, held at the line by Brunson. No. It just squirted out, and the play's offside. And more pushing and shoving after the whistle as the linesman intervened.
2.5 minutes left. Really good call by the linesman. He's right on the line, so he knows if the puck is behind him, it's outside.
Now remember, both teams have used their timeout. It's Reinhart, Duclair, and Domi again. Face-off won by Barbashev. Brintsev feeds ahead to Buchnevich, being watched by Nurse. Theodore on it. Domi couldn't chip it out. Brintsev shoots, that floats wide. Duclair with it. Tied up by Buchnevich. At the line, Rafikov is shot. And it's stopped by Fucali.
It'll be interesting to see when Valeri Bragin and the Russians get to their goaltender. As you mentioned, Gord, no timeout to plot strategy.
Not yet. Reinhart against Kamenev. Scramble, draw, poke, free, fired wide of the goal by Goldobin. Brintsev races to it. Knocked down by Reinhart. He's got Lazar with him. Reinhart shovels it back in deep. Sorokin leaves it there for Rafikov. Under 2 to go in the third period. Brintsev ahead to Tolchinsky. Swings it through the middle to Goldobin. Goldobin comes diving in, knocked down by Hetherington, and lifted high in the air by Hickett. And that's going to be an icing call against the Canadians with 1:39 to go. Tonight's game story brought to you by Molson Canadian. Anything for hockey. Canada led 2-0, 2.5 minutes into the first period, but down 5-1. The Russians scored 3 goals in 3:16. Max Domi with a goal and 2 assists. And it's white knuckle time in Toronto. Now, Sorokin goes to the Russian bench. 1:39 to go.
Oh, the referee, Vinneberg, told them too late.
Too late.
Sending the goaltender back to the bench. Or back to the net, rather.
So Sorokin now halfway. Gauthier for the face-off against Barbashev. Wins the draw. Hickett to the boards, but not up. Pagan swats it back in deep. Sorokin hasn't moved yet. Now he is. Lashenko feeds it back. Pagan shoots. That's blocked. Lazar with time. Lifts it to the line and out. Now trying to poke it ahead. Lashenko winds in. The plays are delayed offside. The Russians have to tag back up. Hickett has lots of time now.
Really good play by Joe Hickett. Calmly holding the puck.
Hetherington knocks it down to the Russian zone. Icing waved off as Reinhart gets there first. The Russian net is empty. Reinhart trims it across. Duclair in, shoots. That's blocked by Yudin. And now Kamenev kicks it across to Buchnevich. Under a minute to go in the third period. Lashenko in. Sends it on goal. It's tipped wide by Pagan. Barbashev digs for it. Theodore against it, but he's on his backhand. Can't clear it out. Bouncing puck. Knocked down the ice by Domi. It's skipping towards the goal. It goes wide. And there's an icing call with 38 seconds to go. And the face-off right back down to the Canadian zone.
Both teams are exhausted here. Reinhart finds Duclair. What a block by Yudin here to save the game. The possibility of a tie for the Russians. The Russians have basically called an unofficial timeout. They've scuttled the quick face-off as they're slowly coming to the circle.
So now it'll be Reinhart for the draw against Kamenev with 38 seconds to go. Reinhart wins it back. Nurse around for Duclair. Chips it ahead. Here comes Domi. Here Pagan. Trying to hook it ahead. Duclair's on it now. Duclair to Domi. He shot it wide of the goal. 25 seconds to go in the period. Time for one more rush. Buchnevich. Up ahead to Goldobin. Centers it. Tolchinsky headed in behind him. Tolchinsky spins back in the corner. Centers it. There's a chance. Buchnevich didn't pull the trigger. Now he does. Fucali makes the save. Duclair clears it down. And he missed the net. And that's another icing call. 8.1 seconds to go. And the face-off back in the Canadian zone. The Canadians are arguing that the Russians touched it.
Look at this dangerous opportunity in the middle of the ice. An overpass as Valiev had it. He passed it once. Now Canada is exhausted here. The same group on the ice. Sam Reinhart on the draw. He'll be against the Russians' best man in Barbashev. 8 seconds left.
They scramble the face-off. Reinhart falls. Valiev shoots. Fucali makes the save. 3.9 seconds to go. And the Russians say that they got to check the clock to see how much time was on it.
Rock solid save for Zach Fucali. They lose the draw. Valiev snaps it at Fucali, who grabs it and holds it.
Reinhart against Barbashev. 3.9 seconds left. Wins the draw to the boards. And Canada's going to win it. It's World Junior Gold in Toronto. In one of the greatest gold medal games ever played, Canada wins 5-4 to capture gold for the first time since 2009. Seen anything like it.
What an unbelievable hockey game from the very first shift. 23 seconds in, Canada led. The Russians are flailing around down 5-1, then it's 5-4. Gord, we've seen some unbelievable hockey in this tournament. This was incredible.
And those Canadian parents can finally take a breath. Paul Reinhart there, his son took the key draws down the stretch. Look at the crowd indeed. And for Russia, it'll be a silver medal. But they fought right to the end. A game worthy of the title, Canada-Russia. Let's go down to ice level with Ryan Rashad.
Gord, thank you, with Canadian captain Curtis Lazar. Describe the feeling when Russia scored those 3 goals to draw themselves right back within striking distance.
All I can say is that's hockey. I mean, what an effort by them. I mean, they didn't quit. We had us on our heels, but tic-tac-toe, baby. We called that timeout. That's all that was said, and we got the job done.
Curtis, it seemed like there was absolutely no trying to protect that 1-goal lead in the third period. You were going great guns at it. Just describe the pace and the intensity of that period.
It was intense. I mean, our fans, they were behind us the entire way. We had the legs there. We got a little sketchier of the icing calls at the end. It doesn't matter now. Canada's back on top of the world.
I know after the second period of the semifinal, you had some words with your teammates, talked about the need to grab the moment. Did you speak tonight after 2?
I mean, everyone stepped up in the second intermission. I mean, if anyone said, we'd be up 1 going into the third against the Russians in the finals, we'd take it any day of the week. We're able to close it out, and man, what a feeling.
How does this feel? Canadian gold in Toronto.
The streak is broken. It's good to be back on top. I mean, win here on home soil. I mean, great job by the guys, and I mean, let's go celebrate.
Go celebrate, Curtis. Thanks.
Thank you.
You heard Lazar say tic-tac-toe early in training camp. Benoit Gros, the Canadian coach, misspoke. He meant to say tic-tac-toe. It said tic-tac-toe. It became kind of a rallying cry for the team, a way to lighten up the group. They put it in pump-up videos, put it on T-shirts. And now Canada has won gold at the World Junior Championship, the 16th gold medal since this became an official IIHF tournament in 1977. And now, the post-game presentations.
World Junior Championship. The 2015 IIHF World Junior Championship is proud to be supported by premier marketing partners Esso, Nike, RBC, TELUS, and RDS. TSN, our host broadcaster. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à la présentation de la médaille du championnat mondial junior 2015 de l'IIHF. Le championnat mondial junior 2015 de l'IIHF est fier d'être appuyé par les partenaires premiers Esso, Nike, RBC, TELUS et le diffuseur officiel TSN RDS. Please welcome the following dignitaries who will participate in tonight's award ceremony. S'il vous plaît, accueillez les dignitaires suivants qui participeront à la cérémonie. Representing the premier sponsors from TELUS, David Fuller, President, Consumer Solutions. From the Organizing Committee, Executive Director Pat McElhenney. Representing TISO, Managing Director of TISO Canada, Rick Ostrom. From the International Ice Hockey Federation, Mr. Frank Gonzalez, IIHF Council Member and Tournament Chairman. Luc Tardif, IIHF Council Member and President of the French Ice Hockey Association. Vladislav Tretiak, IIHF Council Member and President of the Russian Ice Hockey Association. René Fassel, President of the International Ice Hockey Federation. From the Government of Canada, the Honorable Paul Gasol, Minister of State for Sport, and representing Hockey Canada, Chairman of the Hockey Canada Board of Directors, Joe Drago. We will now present the Player of the Game Awards. The Players of the Game will be presented by David Fuller from TELUS. Les joueurs du match seront présentés par David Fuller de TELUS. Tonight's Player of the Game for Russia. Le joueur du match pour la Russie. Number 22, le numéro 22, Ivan Barbashev. Tonight's Player of the Game for Team Canada, le joueur du match pour le Canada, number 25, le numéro 25, Darnell Nurse.
What a battler he was. In the second and third period, there's his dad, Richard, former CFL player.
Gord, I want to say that's the best period of hockey I've ever seen Darnell Nurse play. He defended with ferocity. He never let Durgachev, the huge forward, get to the front of the net.
Player selected will receive a
By the way, Nurse and Theodore were not on the ice for an even strength goal against in the tournament.
Here to present the top 3 players for tonight's teams is Rick Ostrom from Tissot, Canada. The top 3 players for Team Russia, les 3 meilleurs joueurs de la Russie. Number 30, le numéro 30, Igor Shestyorkin. Number 6, le numéro 6, Vladislav Gavrikov. And number 23, le numéro 23, Alexander Sherov.
What a disappointment for Shestyorkin, who got yanked in the early stages of the game after giving up 2 goals. So Canada runs a clean sheet, goes 7-0 to win it.
Now the top 3 players for Team Canada. Les 3 meilleurs joueurs du Canada. Number 23, le numéro 23, Sam Reinhart. Number 16, le numéro 16, Max Domi. And number 25, le numéro 25, Darnell Nurse.
By the way, a 3-way tie for the tournament point lead. Reinhart, Patana, McDavid for Canada. Now time for the Directorate Awards. That's the top goaltender, forward, and defenseman voted on by the Directorate. That's the team officials.
The Directorate has selected the best goaltender, best defenseman, and best forward of the tournament. Each player will receive a special medallion from the International Ice Hockey Federation. Les dirigeants du tournoi ont déterminé le meilleur gardien, le meilleur défenseur et le meilleur attaquant du tournoi. Chaque joueur recevra un médaillon spécial de la Fédération internationale de hockey sur glace. The best goaltender of the tournament is, le gardien du tournoi est, from Slovakia, de la Slovaquie, number 30, le numéro 30, Denis Godlov.
That's a popular choice here.
Well, that kid could run for mayor.
Le meilleur défenseur du tournoi, from Russia, de la Russie, number 6, le numéro 6, Vladislav Gavrikov.
Boy, was he good.
I have no idea how he's not drafted, Gordon. What a tournament he had.
Went through last year's draft.
And the best forward of the tournament, le meilleur attaquant du tournoi, from Team Canada, du Canada, number 16, le numéro 16, Max Domi. Now to present the officials from today's game with the trophy recognizing their involvement in tonight's game is René Fassel. Ici pour présenter les officiels du match avec une médaille pour leur participation dans le match de ce soir, René Fassel.
Boy, Vandenberg and Burley earned it tonight. That was a tough game to officiate, and they did a pretty good job.
This is the best officiated tournament, Gord, that I've seen at the World Juniors in the 4 years that I've been doing it, start to finish. You're not going to love all the calls, but these guys and their crews were very consistent. I thought they did a terrific job.
Luc Tardif and Vladislav Tretiak will now present the silver medals to Team Russia. Les médailles d'argent seront remises à l'équipe de la Russie par Luc Tardif et Vladislav Tretiak.
So the Russians win a medal for the 5th consecutive year. They've never won 6 in a row. They'll get that chance in Helsinki next year. And they receive them from Vladislav Tretiak.
Gord, a few hours ago we saw the bronze medals handed out to Slovakia and how happy they were to receive them. I mentioned at the time, you lose the silver medal and you're never thrilled to get it, but you'll be proud of it sometime as the Russians now move on from the medals to shake hands with the Canadians standing at the other blue line.
And there's some teammates in there. Valiev and Reinhardt play together in Kootenay. Tolchinsky and Nurse play together in Sault Ste. Marie. Canada and Russia just can't play an uninteresting game. And with so much going on back in their home country, you wonder how the minds of the Russian players are drifting back to their junior league, whose very existence is in question. The KHL is in doubt. And Tolchinsky gives Nurse a hug.
Just a fabulous night of hockey. That was so good, so exciting, so fun to be here and to watch this.
And the capper still to come. Gold medals, and then, oh, Canada. It was in 1982 that the program of excellence began for Hockey Canada when the first true national junior teams were formed. And that year in Rochester, Minnesota, they didn't have a copy of the Canadian anthem, so the players sang it themselves in an image that remains fresh in the minds of Canadian hockey fans. Dragan giving his Canadian counterpart Benoit Gru a hug. Gru was supposed to coach the 09 team in Ottawa, took a job with Rochester of the American League instead, so passed up that chance. The late Pat Quinn took over and led Canada to the gold. Now 6 years later, Gru has his gold medal.
He punched a lot of the right buttons, moving the lines around, getting a feel, putting Patan with McDavid and Lazar in the semifinal games to the hat trick. Did a very, very commendable job.
Frank Gonzalez. Would Vladislav Gavrikov please come forward to accept the award?
So the second place award goes to the Russians as Gavrikov comes to get it. The 8th all-time meeting between Canada and Russia at the World Junior in the gold medal game. Square at 4 wins apiece.
The gold medals will now be presented to Team Canada by Frank Gonzalez, Joe Drago, and Val Gasol. Les médailles d'or seront remises à l'équipe Canada par Frank Gonzalez, Joe Drago, et Val Gasol.
Joe Higgins from Kamloops, BC steps up. Frederick Gauthier from Mascouche, Quebec. Lawson Krause from Mount Bridges, Ontario. Jake Virtanen, Abbotsford, BC. Darnell Nurse from Hamilton. Nick Ritchie from Orangeville, Ontario. Curtis Lazar from Vernon, BC. Eric Comrie from Edmonton. Zach Fucale from Rosemere, Quebec. Robbie Fabry from Mississauga on crutches. Sam Reinhart from Vancouver. Nick Patan from Delta, BC. Anthony Duclair from Laval, Quebec. Josh Morrissey from Calgary, Alberta. Madison Bowie from Winnipeg. Nick Paul from Mississauga, Ontario. Shea Theodore from Aldergrove, BC. Dylan Hetherington from Calgary. Braden Point from Calgary. Connor McDavid from Newmarket, Ontario. Sam Morin from Saint Henri, Quebec. And Max Domi from right here in Toronto. And then the coaches, Benoit Gru and his staff. Dave Lowry, Scott Walker, Arnaud Raymond. Bruce Hamilton, part of the management staff, the owner of the Kelowna Rockets, who are the top team in the Western League. Sean Burke, a highly decorated Canadian goaltender. So much goes into this. The summer evaluation camp takes place in August. You have the exhibition series through October, November. The selection camp in December. And the tournament itself. And by the end, you can scarcely remember the beginning.
The gold medal team will receive the IIHF Championship Trophy as the 2015 IIHF World Junior Champions. L'équipe médaille d'or recevra le trophée de l'IIHF à titre de champion du tournoi mondial de hockey junior 2015 de l'IIHF, presenting the IIHF Championship Trophy to Team Canada. And Team Canada's captain is René Fassel. We would ask that Team Captain Curtis Lazar please come forward to accept the IIHF Championship Trophy.
Curtis Lazar, who began the year with the Ottawa Senators, a dream for him to play in the NHL as a 19-year-old, but he desperately wanted to come back here, and now he's a World Junior Champion. And the first guy to get it from him is Robbie Fabry. The Duke, Anthony Duclair, will go back to the NHL with the New York Rangers when this is over. Josh Morris, he's got a new team. He was traded from Prince Albert to Kelowna. Hasn't been there yet.
Please welcome Frank Gonzalez to officially close the 2015 IIHF World Junior Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Montreal. Thank you, Toronto, for a beautiful championship. I would like to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank Hockey Canada and the organizing committee, and by all means, the volunteers. The volunteers, please. Also, thank the Canadian Armed Forces, security and police officers on this Christmas Day. On behalf of the International Ice Hockey Federation and its president, Mr. René Fassel, I hereby declare the 2015 IIHF Junior World Championship closed. Thank you.
And now there's one more order of business. center ice. They pose for the official team photo when the team is named, but this is the one they really want with the trophy when the tournament's over. Ryan Rashad will talk to a couple of players on the ice in a moment once they pose for the photo. By the way, Canada will go to a tough group next year with Sweden and the United States. The tournament's held in Helsinki. It's done according to finish. Now they got to figure out which way to point.
They'll turn around 3 or 4 times. They'll get it right.
A well-organized group. They talked about chemistry, Ray, right from the start. There's Connor McDavid. Played in 2 World Juniors. Likely won't get a shot at the 3rd. He'll be in the National Hockey League next season.
They stayed on such an even keel, Gord. It was really impressive. I thought they picked a more skilled team this year. They skated better. They attacked from almost 3 of the 4 lines on a consistent basis. They defended well. They got good goaltending. It was an outstanding effort from the pick of the team to the deliverance of the gold medal.
12 of these players won gold with Canada at the Ivan Holinka Summer Tournament in 2012. The core of this team is really the core of that group, captained by Sam Reinhart. And let's go back down to Ryan Rashad, standing by with Max Domi.
Gord, thank you very much, Max. That game had to be so tension-filled on the bench. Just describe the emotions you were going through that 2nd and 3rd period.
Yeah, you know what? That was obviously awesome. It was huge, and we've been working a long time for that. So, I mean, we're all proud of each other, and we've been working for a long time. So, this feels pretty good right now.
Benoit Groulx called a timeout when things were starting to sway Russia's way. What was his tone on the bench? What did he say?
Yeah, you know what? He just said, play our game. We're in control right now, and if he would have said we were winning by 1 goal going to the 3rd, we would have taken it. So, I mean, we just buckled down, and every single guy in that room bought it from day one, and we worked hard every shift, every practice, every game, and we all deserved it.
You ran the halls of this building as a child. Now you celebrate as a champion on the ice. What does that feel like?
This is unbelievable. I mean, the fans in Montreal and Toronto have been huge, and they're just as much of a team as anyone right now.
Max, thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
He's right here.
And Darnell Nurse with Ryan.
Gord, thank you. Darnell, there was a shift in that 3rd period. You were battling behind the net for about 15 or 20 seconds, trying desperately to win the battle and not take a penalty. What was that like?
Just try to go out there and move my feet as much as possible and, make a good play on the puck. And, unfortunately, he cut back, and I was able to get a piece of him.
Can you describe what it's like in a game that intense against a rival that hated, what it's like to try and walk that fine line between discipline and good decisions?
Yeah, we found a way to get through our penalty trouble, but it's good there in the 3rd period. We stayed out of all the crap, and this is an unbelievable feeling, and it's well-deserved for all the guys.
Darnell, I know you desperately wanted the chance to try and to play for Canada last year, and you weren't given that opportunity. How much did that fuel you to get to here in this moment?
Yeah, I think it fueled me a little bit at the beginning of the season, but I mean, you get here and it all of a sudden becomes, playing for these 22 guys here, and I couldn't be happier and then luckier to be a part of this team.
I have to ask you about your head coach, Benoit Groulx, the tone that he set through the tournament. Did he just have a way of keeping things calm?
Tic-tac-toe, baby, tic-tac-toe.
That was very much the anthem. How much was that said today?
Once in the period, just to calm us down, and unbelievable coach, and we were real fortunate to have him.
So he said it on the bench?
He sure did.
That's classic. Darnell, thanks for this. Go celebrate.
Thank you.
Zach Fucale has a gold medal for Canada. Hands off to Frederic Gauthier. Let's go to Connor McDavid with Ryan Rashad.
Gord, thank you. Connor, can you just describe what it feels like to stand on this ice in this city as a gold medalist?
You can't really explain it. It's unbelievable. I'm lost for words. It's unbelievable.
It seemed like your confidence grew almost game to game, Connor. How much did the way you felt change from the start of the tournament to tonight?
I felt a lot better as the tournament went on. It doesn't really matter though. The team played great, and we're world champions today.
Describe the bond that developed between yourself and Curtis Lazar, your captain. I know you roomed together. He was always the guy trying to get you to smile throughout the tournament. What's that relationship like now?
It's been great. He's been a great captain. He's been a great roommate, and I've had so much fun. Just being around him, and it's just unbelievable.
It's going to be an interesting next few months for you, Connor. Enjoy tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Gord.
So the celebration rolls on as Canada has gold for the first time since 2009, and they earned every bit of it. What a night in Toronto to cap off a tremendous 2015 World Junior. The celebration rolls on, and so does our coverage from Toronto. This is the 2015 World Junior Hockey Championship, TSN's 25th. Our coverage continues in a moment.
The 2015 IIHF World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you by RBC. Proud to support hockey in Canada to help more kids reach their someday. By Imperial Oil. The Esso brand is a proud sponsor of Hockey Canada and the World Junior Hockey Championship. By Nike, official gear of Canada's national hockey teams. And by TELUS, the biggest fans of Canada's biggest game.
James Duthie back with you. Curtis Lazar with the Canadian flag and a gold medal around his neck. Every move the coach made during this tournament worked out. Benoit grew a victorious one with Ryan Rishaug.
Benoit, you called a timeout as Russia was starting to take momentum back. In that moment, what was your message to the team?
Well, you know what? It's only a matter of relaxing. We're still early in the game, late in the second period. But, it was a matter of calming everybody down and make sure that, it's still 5-4 for us. And we know that, and we played a right way in the third period.
Darnell Nurse said you had one tic-tac-toe for the group. Is that what it was?
Well, you know what? We talk about this like it was a fun sentence. I use in the practice one day, and they all laugh. And since then, it's been like our favorite words in the room, tic-tac-toe, and they told me it's relaxed, so I use it obviously tonight.
What are you most proud of with this group of young men?
Well, you know what? I'm proud of all of them, obviously. It's been an incredible ride for us, the coaches, and not only with the players, but with the staff. I thought we had a vision, we had a plan in place, but you need world-class player to accomplish that, and this is what we had. And you know what, my hats off to them. They were unbelievable from day one, and they deserve it big time tonight.
Benoit, congratulations on a gold medal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Man, what a job by his staff. And that plan he talked about executed to perfection. Canada wins gold. They go undefeated. They never trail the entire tournament. Back to wrap up after this.
The 2015 IIHF World Junior Hockey Championship is brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By Molson Canadian. Anything for hockey. And by Canadian Tire Jumpstart Charities. Giving kids a sporting chance.
The World Junior's done, but hockey not done on TSN. We get right back at it. Sens and Flyers on TSN 5 Tuesday. Sens and Avs on Thursday. In the Jets region, you can see the Jets and Coyotes, 7:30 Central Time on TSN 3 Thursday. And the Toronto Maple Leafs back at it against the Columbus Blue Jackets Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern on TSN 4. The celebration has moved from the ice into the dressing room for Team Canada. They have to enjoy every moment because as soon as tomorrow morning comes, they're back to their junior teams across the country, back to being opponents and adversaries. But tonight, a night they will never forget as they break a 5-year gold medal drought, beating Russia here in Toronto. And lots more of that coverage just ahead on SportsCenter. This has been a very special year for us here at TSN, our 25th World Junior Hockey Championship. We call it a silver anniversary, but that doesn't really work. It's pure gold tonight. Every one of them has been a true pleasure. We thank our crew who gives up their holidays every single year, and they work way harder than Bob and I do. And we thank you for spending some of your holidays with us. We will see you next year from Helsinki as Canada tries to start a new golden streak. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night from Toronto.
Welcome inside of the 2015 World Junior Hockey Championship. Score! Max Domi! The Wolf is hungry tonight. If you're watching this and you want to try this in your next rec league game, this tournament, this night, never gets old.
Breathe, kid, breathe.
That guy is absolutely on fire. The New Year's Eve party starting hours early here in Montreal. The quarterfinals are harsh. Lose and you're out.
Oh, man, is that some finish from the Finnish player?
And here we go. The Swedes were inches away from getting a goal.
This Russian team wants to attack again.
And it'll be loud and full of red tonight. The winner to face the Russians in the gold medal game. Patan scores! This Patan! Hat-trick!
He might have the entire top 10 tonight. A shocking start to this game.
And the Slovaks have won bronze. And it must feel like gold to them. What more could you ask for? Canada and Russia. Domi centers and Duclair scores! We've seen this before.
In what was a 5-1 lead is now 5-4.
In one of the greatest gold medal games ever played, Canada's going to win it. It's World Junior Gold in Toronto.